We are not live.
Salam alaikum, Sharuf, Nama Usha, and salutations to all. I am Nanya Sujare, your host for today, day 2, 19th July 2025, of our 3-day celebration of the 18th anniversary and founding of the Continental Moorish Yamashite Empire, CMYE, on 18 July 2007. This live call will extend through Sunday, 20 July 2025. Be sure to join us. Our moderator for today's presentation is Nanya Amia Moon Ray. Now I will begin with the recitation of our pledge. Begin all acts breathing and thinking by saying Kalum, all, by way of the infinity flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the universal traveler, :space, dweller-emperor, :space, Sam Hu, a mini-ray, quote, Adelo Yi, end quote, Zen Uru, :space, smiley face. The pledge of the Imperial and Imperial Royal flags for the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United Space-States, small s, : as I stand beneath our sacred Imperial and Imperial Royal flags, I vow loyalty and obedience as I watch them fly. To the imperial laws of our Imperial and Imperial Constitution that governs our Imperial and Imperial Royal Empire, to this cause, I hold my head up high. With honor, I pledge to protect and defend all within the Imperial and Imperial Royal Kingdom, both family and friend, to ensure that all have their equal rights. To this cause, I will lay down my very life. As I stand beneath our sacred Imperial and Imperial Royal and national flags, I vow loyalty, sincerity, and integrity with zeal. As I/IE will some more to be. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Ashe, so be it, so it is. It definitely shall be. Quote, Zen Uru, and power we shall have, end quote. Thank you. Yeesh, : smiley face. Know thyself. Smiley face. On behalf of the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United Space-States, small s, : space, quote, the oldest independent autonomous-autochthon nation / kingdom on Earth, end quote. I/we welcome and thank you all for joining us for our Nama celebration of the 18th anniversary of the Continental Moorish Yamashite Empire, CMYE, in parentheses. We commemorate not only a date, but a cosmic realignment and geopolitical resurrection of our ancestral authority. This anniversary carries deep metaphysical, historical, and sovereign weight in the continuum of the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic, in parentheses, ECMYE-RKR, and the Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty, in parentheses, IROHEM, all caps. In conjunction with celebrating the establishment of the CMYE, we highlight the life of His Royal Highness Emperor, :space, Sidi Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Khatib of Morocco. Throughout this presentation, there will be breaks for questions and answers, and we welcome your participation. Please be certain to note your questions, comments, accolades, and concerns to be addressed during these designated times. Therefore, we ask that you adhere to the following house rules. We ask that you keep your mics muted and videos off. We ask that you speak clearly and respectfully when addressing His Imperial Majesty. For those logged into Zoom, we ask that you use the raise hand features, and please wait for the host or moderator to call your appellation or name prior to speaking. Please state your appellation or your name clearly before asking your question. Please, as well, limit your questions to a maximum of 2 to allow time for others to present their questions. If you choose to put your questions in the chat, please be clear and concise. And lastly, please focus on the subject at hand. Thank you in advance for your attention and cooperation. And now I have the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure to present to you a universal traveler, :space, dweller emperor, :space, his imperial majesty, all caps, H.E.M. :space, Sam Hu, a mini Ray, quote, Adelo Yi, end quote. Salam Malikum Ma'at Sharuf, protector, how you be. Protector, you there?
And Glenn.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you be, protector?
I'm great. I'm better. How you be?
I'm cooling. Salam alaikum ma'asharu.
I can't see you.
I know my camera.
Oh, yes, I'm on camera.
Yeah, my camera's jacked.
Okay.
All
You
right.
see me?
I see you. Always fly as can be.
All right, let's go.
All right, cool. All right. So, at this time, we will have a reading of the bio, Imperial bio, of Emperor Sidi Muhammad Ibn Abdullah al-Khatib. All right, and our reader today will be Nikeshla CMYE-IRK. I yield the floor. Thank you.
The reader today will be Bach Abnafir Ray, Unified Imperial Bio.
I can't see.
I have my video on.
Oh, now it came. Now you came through. Hey, Kev, how you doing? Salam alaikum.
I'm doing fine. How about you?
All right, cool.
Unified Imperial Bio. His Majesty Sidi Muhammad Abim Abdallah al-Khatib, in parentheses, born 1710 Fez, dash, death 9 April 1790 in Meknes. Reign, 1757 through 1790, in parentheses, confirmed by treaty and imperial scrolls. Titles, First Diamond, architect of modern Morocco. Diamond, sovereign of Al-Marak and Amexem. Diamond, custodian of the imperial scroll and treaty flame. Diamond, Amir al-Mu'minin, in parentheses, commander of the faithful. Diamond, scribe, emperor of the Al-Khatib seal. Number 1, dynastic and geopolitical legitimacy. Emperor Sidi Muhammad descended from the Sarifian Alawi dynasty, traced directly to Fatima al-Zahra and Amin Ali Abi Talib, the sacred house of the Prophet Muhammad. His sovereignty is recognized through the Imperial Constitution, in parentheses, all caps, ICCMYE-IRK, and activated by Emperor's Directive -0004Z, capital Z, small a, affirming territorial command in North Africa, in parentheses, Al-Maghrib, and North America, in parentheses, Amexem.
All right, hold right there. All right, that's Imam Ali. That's Prophet Muhammad's nephew. And Fatima is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his daughter. So that's Shiite bloodline. That's not Sunni bloodline. That's Shiite bloodline. The Sunni bloodlines, they say they come in Abu Bakr. And Muhammad's marriage to his daughter. But this right here is talking about Fatima and Prophet Imam. That's what Imam Ali. So that's taking it from Arabia into Africa. Like The Holy Quran said it came through Sudan all the way down. You see that? You see all that? You see that attachment?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. You good?
Yes.
All right. And now you had a correction here. It's 4004Z, not A. A don't belong there, but that's cool. That's just typo. Come on.
All right. Next slide, please. Number 2, North American jurisdiction. His Majesty was the first foreign sovereign to recognize the United States of America.
Hold on. That's a small U.
Yeah, that's a typo. I thought we changed that. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, small U.
Correction.
And it's take of America off. They didn't need that. America didn't exist then. It was just United States, small U. All right, come on. That's just typo. We good. Come on.
Okay, I'll start that over. His
Oh, yeah.
Majesty was the first foreign sovereign to recognize the United Small U states through the 1786 through 1787 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. By this act, he,
Hold on. You got to do that again. You said small U. United small U.
correction. His Majesty was the first foreign sovereign to recognize the United Small U states connect through the 1786 through 1787 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. By this act, he, Diamond, extended imperial Moorish jurisdiction into the Western Hemisphere. Diamond declared recognition of, quote, the United Small U states while distinguishing it
Yeah, come on.
from the corporate, in quote, U.S. end quote, construct.
I take accountability because they have put the United States of America major there, right? So you know the distinction, but it didn't translate into correction. So apologies. I got accountability.
Okay, so yeah, that right there then. So you say go back. All right, so right there you're saying declare recognition of, quote, yeah, that's capital T.
Yeah, it was the major.
Yeah, capital T, the, and then you got the. No, that goes to the major. That's going to the major. You said declare recognition of the, why distinguish it from the corporate. Yeah, so that would be the capital T.
Right.
And then you got capital U of America major parentheses. And then that's distinguish it from the corporate, quote, US, or you could put the TH small t US all cap, end quote, construct, right. That would make that right.
I'll put it in the chat for you, Ab.
All right, cool. We can get straight now, we get going. So this is the original bio, so we got to make sure it's right. You feel me? It's docked into the recorder. All right.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Next, Diamond.
All right.
Embedded a Mexim as the Western Dominion of the El-Moroccan throne. This treaty is still active and recognized as the longest standing continuous treaty in U.S. all caps diplomatic history.
They just hide a small U part.
Okay. Roman number three, sovereign reign accomplishments. Urban reconstruction and modernization rebuilt Casablanca. Mogadar is Essaouira, Rabat, Port, 1755, Lisbon earthquake. constructed royal centers, including Dar el-Mekzine, Az-Suna Mosque, and port infrastructures. Military achievements: repelled French invasion at Larachi, in parentheses 1765, expelled Portuguese from Mazatlan, in parentheses 1769, contained Spanish at Melilla, parentheses 1774 through 1777, parentheses.
That was the same time that the Revolutionary War. When he lent that 100 million to the
Yes.
for the Revolutionary War, 1774.
1775, yeah.
Yep. Whole lot going on over here, wasn't
There was a lot going on at that time.
Yes, indeed.
Come on.
So diplomatic triumphs: 1786 treaty with the U.S. caps, conducted bilateral missions to Spain, Britain, and Ottoman Port, emphasized mutual protection of Moors in America, and parentheses treaty clause. Religious and legal contributions: strengthened Islamic institutions, protected religious minorities, in parentheses Dami system, patron of the ulama, jurisprudential reforms, and religious pluralism.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes. Number 4, lineage, succession, and contemporary continuity. Genealogical lineage, single quote, Alawi through Sharifi through Asanid through Fatimid through Al-Bey. Legacy heirs, Diamond, father of Muley Yazid, successor, and Muley Suleiman. Diamond, imperial scroll inheritance, flows into the contemporary imperial seat of all caps H.E.M. :, Samhu Samson-Ray / Samhu Amini-Ray, quote, Adelo Yi, end quote, semicolon, bearing imperial continuity under all caps CMYE-IRKR.
Well, that would have to be bearing imperial and imperial continuity under ECNY, that's RKR. That's got to be updated. All right.
Okay, noted.
All right, come on.
I have a question in the chat, Emperor.
Come on.
The question is from Nanya Shujar. He asks, what's the connection to the Ottoman Empire? And I have a question as well for you, but go ahead and answer that one first.
What, Ottoman Empire?
Yes.
Take that cursor before RE Ray / and put it up on the other line. With the Ottoman Empire, with Muhammad.
Yes.
Well, you got to see. That's an interesting one. That's a new one.
I only ask Protect because you hear so much about Moors and Ottoman Empire.
Well, you got to realize the Ottoman Empire, the jurisdiction of the Ottoman Empire. So if you're looking at the territory of the sovereign emperor in 1700s, and then they shut down the Ottoman Empire in 1929, League of Nations,
right?
And then bringing in the UN. You feel me? So where that jurisdiction come from then? Even though you got the Ottoman Empire, you have sultans and all that. Where their true sovereignty come from then? Had to be under the emperor. If not, why they didn't be? Why wasn't the emperor? Because the emperor title takes it over everything. So that's when we get more into our archives.
Okay.
To really get that true story of that. You feel me?
Right.
Without given all the research that a lot of people a lot of Moorish characters out there on the market, doing all that research and going up to the Library of Congress, Philadelphia records, in the Philadelphia Library and all that, finding certain records dealing with Muhammad, but not having, because you got to realize the White House sits on top of the Imperial Moorish empires,
Eastmore, right?
All their papers, everything. Archbishop said that was six stories under the White House. So that's why that created that office of the president. They sitting on top of all your authority, all his authority. That's why they couldn't cut his flag down. When George Washington said cut cherry tree down, they were talking about cutting the red flag down, his flag. You feel me? So that made they inherit that jurisdiction. That's what I'm saying, that white privilege.
Right.
That's where that royal jurisdiction coming under city here. You feel me? To this day.
So is that
they changed it in 1871 to make them claim to be white, but it's white privilege out of treaty law. Come on.
I was gonna say, so is that why, even though the military aspect of this question, but is that why the de facto feels like it rules the world?
Well, no, de facto only rules the world based on policy. Behind the scenes in 1871 in coup d'etat they did in 1871 on the Constitution was that's why you got yellow friend flags around all the flags, because that's military rule.
Okay.
There's no sovereign rule in America. It's military rule, or the military. They call it what Eisenhower called it, military
industrial complex.
Industrial complex. You feel me?
Right.
So you got to look. You see that jurisdiction. So they running on that jurisdiction of the emperor, but they're hiding under military control now because they changed the Constitution in 1871. So when they changed the Constitution, they lost the privileges, the white privilege that came with the emperor. You feel me?
Right.
That happened right after the Civil War.
Right. Reconstruction.
The Civil War was about your land. So, I'm in Moon. Help you out, Sir John?
A little bit.
Well, I know I can't give you that much more.
No, it's cool. It's all grown together.
Because of the fact that we dealing with the UN at a certain level with the leader nations in that jurisdiction. Well, I made that flag go above that jurisdiction. You feel me?
Right.
Because they wouldn't have no sovereignty. It's a charter. All right. So UN is a charter.
Right.
So they inherited the jurisdiction of the leader nations. You feel me?
Right.
Outside of the leader nation where they didn't have no standing. So that jurisdiction goes back to the Ottoman Empire, which goes back to who? The emperor here. But they all dealt in that Moorish doctrine, Allah. You feel me?
Okay. That's cool. I appreciate that. What I was going to ask was along what you answered anyway, so that's cool.
Well, that's why you got a lot of Moors that he claims to be Muslims or Muslims and don't know nothing about the language. You feel me?
Right.
But I came along and proved that you ain't got to be I'm a Moor. I'm a true Moor. I ain't got to be none of them. You feel me?
Right.
I ain't got to be I done went through that school of Islam. You feel me? Ain't nothing there. I went through the school of Christianity. Ain't nothing there. So you see, I'm true Moor though. So they get out there on the market and get to say the Moor, you got to be a Muslim or something to be a Moor. That's bullshit. I can't prove all of them wrong. You feel me?
Not just that, Protector. You kind of dropped a gem the way you phrased it, because they all just schools of thought. That's what all.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah,
no salvation.
Right. We look at it right for that reason, but it was just a school of thought. That's it. So
it's still just school of thought.
Right. Well, yeah. For us, because we don't have to deal with it no boy.
Oh yeah. Because we ain't in that that mindset where we calling on Allah, nothing else happen. You feel me?
Right.
Everything you do in your hand. You feel me? So if you look at what's happening now, you see like the Christian God is fighting the Muslim God and all that kind of shit going on.
Right.
You feel me? They still playing them God games. You feel me?
God games, right.
But there ain't no savior nowhere.
No.
They all fighting on the flags, and their officials who they got oath of office from what? A constitution.
Right.
And the constitution they fighting under don't have no venue. Outside of that, you won't have no damn debt, right?
Right.
Like that, Nick.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And that's a good segue into the question I have, Emperor. So earlier you mentioned they hid the small U. Can you briefly explain what that means, that they hid the small U, and how was that process done?
Because when the Continental Congress is who signed the treaty. So Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, he created what you call the United States of America corporate company out of Britain, and George Washington was the 10th president of that company when he became the president of the United States. That's why you got a corporate constitution. It's not we the people constitution. You got a corporate constitution. You see, so when you go back to the US of A, they were the Union States. They classified Union States Society of America. Okay, so then you had 9 Union states who formed the Constitution. That's why you got that red and white flag on our banner. You feel me? That covers that jurisdiction. So treaty law is 3 flags. So when they came and signed the treaty with Emperor here, you had a cedar tree flag and a red and white flag, and then you had Emperor's flag. You feel me? So they hid the red and white flag. You got a cedar tree flag. You got all the Moors running out there putting a cedar tree flag on the paperwork. Don't have no jurisdiction because they ain't got no venue. You see? So that's why I say they're playing games. So you gotta have real jurisdiction, not this I'm an indigenous person because I got some knowledge now and I'm a Moor. I claim to be some Moor and I ain't got no venue to dock myself, properly dock yourself. So you got all these people that are giving out nationalities, right? But they can't give you no live birth certificate. They got any weight on it or no venue. You feel me? So you ain't really nationalized then. You just got paperwork saying nationality, but the United States they say neutralization. But that ain't nationality. You feel me?
Right.
Because United States is a corporation. It's not a sovereign state. You see?
That's right.
So if it was a sovereign state, they won't require their citizens to pay taxes like they do.
Right.
They will have free medical. They will have free education. You will have all these student loans and all that shit going on.
Right.
Because they don't have no equity in the Constitution. The people made the Constitution. They claim that we the people support the Constitution, but we the people support a Constitution that's written for what? Corporation. Civil.
That's right.
You see? So they got a corporation constitution, and they give all their by the birth record saying they what? What the birth record say they are? Agents.
Right.
You see?
Civil agents. Right.
Civil agents. There you go.
Right.
So you become informants. So now you're civil agents of the corporation, and you willing to pay taxes for what? Social Security card, driver license, so you can perform, get a job, go to education, get educated, so you can work job to keep the what? The corporation running, because you think you need that to survive, but the corporation don't do what? The corporation don't have anything to give you. They don't have no salvation in the corporation.
That's right.
Because you paying the corporation, and the corporation spending crazy. You wouldn't have, this guy in DC right now, this guy done spent over $1 billion just on his security and where he want to go play golf with it. All that's coming out your check.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no control.
That's right.
They're sending billions to Ukraine, all that. You ain't got no control. Military and everything.
Right.
And it just that's why I said it's debt. They dying in debt. See, so then you know they ain't got no sovereignty. So you gotta control administration. They controlled by the Zionists. You know what I'm saying? They call them deep state, all that. All them, man, go back. The United States was sold to the billionaires way back in Rockefeller days. You feel me?
Right.
So that's all contract. DC, 10 miles around DC. There's no sovereigns on the land because they all capsized corporations. You feel me?
Right. And yet, indeed, Hamutu, in a corporation and an organization cannot enforce or enact sovereignty.
You can't touch it. That's why Biden said what? We don't touch his government, and we thank the Lord he don't do what? He don't
Mess
mess
with
with
ours.
ours.
Right.
Trying to get me?
No doubt.
So you see, so you got sovereign authority over the land. So you're writing off the land. That's why you got 999 sovereign bond. Why? Because the land way more is worth way more than that. You feel me?
Right.
And that's including 100 million in gold. You feel me?
Right.
See, so you already got a bond on it. So for them cats that said it don't exist, well, we ain't got to see that. That's what I'm saying. They ain't no argument to us because we using it. We moving it. You feel me?
No doubt.
So what else your question got?
That was it. Hamutu. I think Daniel Shujar had some. You had some, Shujar?
Nah, I was just gonna make a comment about when he spoke on nationality. It just shows the ignorance of us as a people that we really don't know, understand, maybe don't want to know what nationality really is, because we all fall for the, you feel me, just based on ignorance of not knowing. So that gets
Because they got there selling national people like it's like
hotcakes.
I mean, like
Hotcakes. Well, they line up.
Giving you nationality papers, 100 papers and IDs and all that shit. They ain't got no venue nowhere. You're like, okay, so where am I docked at? Where can I drop my ankle?
That's not
ship
even
stop.
a conversation.
Right.
That's not even a conversation, right?
You can't dock yourself nowhere.
That's right.
You going into court arguing with them about El or Bey or Day or Ali that you say you claim and you are this. You ain't got no venue. Why are you talking to them for? That corporation. See how easy that is? See? Because the courts can only operate on the corporation, the all cap name. You feel me? Because they don't lawfully have no jurisdiction over you. So, but you give them legal and administrative jurisdiction over your birthright contract. And by you giving them legal and administrative jurisdiction over your birthright contract, they come in under UCC 4-19 and sign this accommodation. So they got the whole system set up through maritime law, through the UCC codes, you feel me? So that they can operate that birthright contract behind the scene. That's why when you get in trouble, whatever you get some kind of ticket, you bond it from Sharif, because they the overseers of your birthright contract to the British throne. But since you don't never activate the sheriff, the sheriff protects the what? The judges and the courts. Like that name.
Indeed.
And that you say that's what makes us a ward of the state.
You're ward of the state. So you got all the more saying I'm nationalized outside. You can't. There ain't no way. You can't get outside the Social Security Simple Trust.
No venue.
That's what I'm saying. You can't get outside of it.
Right.
So only we can get outside of it because we foreign national countries. That's why you transferring what? Your account over to your state. And you able to operate within your older states because you are foreign nationals. We are foreign nationals, non-nationals, are foreign nationals within their what? Their own state/country. You feel me? Because in for reality, the whole United States is just one state to us. When you start talking about the country, well, you add in Canada, South America, and all that, because that's the. Remember, they got me on record at the UN as what? What they got us on record at the UN as? The indigenous government of the what? The Americas.
Americas, right?
Not America, the Americas. That's what we on record as.
That's right.
I'm on record. His Majesty, the normal emperor. You feel me?
So that's also to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Protector, that indigenous validation come by way of our state.
And so you could listen. When you go to the indigenous rights, indigenous people, you see we say what? Non-nationals / quote indigenous. You feel me? People. Right. See, because we the only sovereign state on the planet that can operate them indigenous rights. Because everybody else got everybody what? They got everybody incorporated. Birth certificate.
Incorporated, right.
Got everybody's what? Corporation.
That's right.
That's why you got yellow French flags everywhere. But each country operate their contracts or their citizens different. We different over here because you're bonded through through the crown of England. So the goal of England is what created your birthright contract. That's what it's bonded on. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
See? So that's why, you know, they're not United States, they're just a vassal state to us. They also the vassal state to the British, or they used to call them a colony, because the Social Security Administration is owned by Britain and the IRS is owned by Britain. So if you think these Moors think they can get out there and cash that Social Security Service Trust out or their birth record out back into their system, they done lost their damn mind. Tim never said that.
Right.
You can sling all the paperwork you want. Bills have been changed, tender payment, all that shit don't mean nothing. Ain't doing getting your white flag around your head. Come on. We good, Sajah? Amir?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with to it. I'm with to it. YouTube moderators, any questions from YouTube?
Not at this moment.
Okay. Now I yield the floor back to Nanya Bakaf to continue to read.
Number 5, Imperial jurisdictional anchors. First diamond, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, in parentheses 1786/87, space, active. Diamond, filed at the Library of Congress, affirming, all caps U.S. Continental Congress receive authority, quote, for the time being, end quote. Diamond, Imperial decrees and seal recognition in both Africa and American territories. Next diamond, all caps ICCMYE/ECIRK, constitutional enforcement across El-Maroc and North America. Six, symbolic codification. Diamond, sword of Fez, space, emblem of unified military authority. Diamond, El Khatra banner, space, green flag of paradise and Sharifian descent. Diamond, Imperial seal, space, inscribed imperial authority linking emperors of the West, of the East and West. Cultural and urban visionary. Bullet, founder of Essaouira, space, commissioned the French architect Theodore Canute in 1769 to design the Essaouira, in parentheses, quote, El-Sharira, end quote, as a modern fortified Atlantic port, space, a pioneering move in European-Moroccan collaboration and trade infrastructure. Diamond, urban redevelopment, space, employed European artisans, in parentheses, E.G. Cornut, quote, Amid El Nziza, to reshape Moroccan cities, space, reviving Casablanca, renovating the Marrakesh Kasbah, and constructing Rabat's Dar al-Dash Makzine and as that Sunnah Mosque. Military and administrative reform. Diamond, disbandment of the single quote, Abib, in parentheses, Black Guard, space. After surviving a brief inscription of his son Yazid as Sultan, he dissolved the Black Guard, relocated their units to regional garrisons, in parentheses, Tangier, Larisha, Rabat, and Marrakesh, Sou, and curtailed their political power for long-term stability.
Hold on, I'm gonna say it right back. And Marcus, ain't no and there. Read that again.
Oh, yeah, right, no and. Correction. Disbandment of the, quote, a single quote, Abid, in parentheses, Black Guard, space. After surviving a brief inscription of his son Yazid as Sultan, he dissolved the Black Guard, relocated their units to regional garrisons, in parentheses, Tangier, Larashi, Rabat, Marrakesh, Sou, and curtailed their political power for long-term stability. Diamond, faced and repelled external pressures, triumphed over French, in parentheses 1785, Larashi, and Portuguese,
1765.
1765, Larashi, and Portuguese, in parentheses 1769, Magazine. Though the siege of Melilla, in parentheses 17...
Through the siege.
It says though, through.
Oh, yes, through. Should be through the siege.
Through the siege of Melilla, in parentheses 1774 through 75, ultimately ended in withdrawal. Are there any questions so far?
There wasn't number of war going on in 74, 75 there, right?
Yes.
Exactly. That's right.
Bey king.
And sure that his own son stood up and rose up against him.
Who?
Yazid.
His son, Yazid.
Yeah.
All right, next slide, please. Crisis management.
What they say, kill the emperor, the nation of the land. You see how we did that shit, right? Because I read all the stories too, right? So you can't come in and say you want to get the princess or my sons come in and take my seat. Why? Because they don't. I didn't set it up that way. Because I ain't going nowhere. I got immortality, so they just my areas, right? You like that shit, don't you?
Yep.
That's right.
I think we got a little question.
Looks like there's a question in the chat.
What you got?
Yes, it says, this is from Ronald Santa Cruz. How and when and at what point did the indigenous inhabitants become naturalized? Did the empire allow that to happen? If so, why?
Which empire you talking about? Which empire you talking about? You talking about the Emperor's Empire? Or Muhammad City? Or you talking about our empire? Our sovereignty. Which empire you talking about?
Ronald Cruz, if you can, unmute yourself.
Say how and when, at what point
Did
the
indigenous
indigenous habits or our empire, okay? He said how and when, at what point did the indigenous habit become nationalized? They ain't never became nationalized.
Yeah.
The indigenous rights of indigenous people is for the pygmies. What's them folk in Australia? Aboriginals.
Yeah.
All right. The countries that signed on to the indigenous rights of indigenous people, the UN, they keep them under that jurisdiction of statehood where they own them, not revealing to them that they are classified under the indigenous people. They can create their own stuff. And the government has to do everything. So they keep their citizens away from these indigenous people. So when you go to the UN and you talking about the indigenous rights of indigenous people, well, you can't be indigenous because you got a birthright contract. And that birthright contract, you say you are a corporation. You are agent to the state, okay? You're informant of the state. So you can't be in two places at one time. So yeah, you got blood running through your veins like we talking now, we breathing. But your blood is attached to a contract that you operate every day as a corporation. You sign off on it with these cursed signatures. You do everything. You know what I'm saying? But that birthright contract got a bond. It's got a security agreement on it for the state. Because the state got to be in control over everything within its jurisdiction. So if you're saying you indigenous, well, you got to step outside of the state jurisdiction first. Then you got to step outside of the United States jurisdiction. And then where you going? Do you have a jurisdiction you can dock yourself in? No. So you can't be indigenous. So there ain't never been no nationality for indigenous people or inhabitants. It's just the Moors out there, the Great Seal and all them cats, Moor Science and all them cats, and the Wabians and all that cats, they're slinging all this damn paperwork with its Moorish nationalities. They don't have no venue. That's just that's a fraud contract. You don't have no, they can't give you no live birth certificate. They can't give you no birth. You gotta be, you come into a foreign state, you gotta have a birth record. A new one, because that old one, you're gonna transfer over to the new one. But you gotta have a venue. So you got nationalities out there, but they ain't got no constitution and no venue. If you got a constitution, that means you gotta have equity. See, I've already proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's why that 48 star flag is right here. That shows you got $100 million in gold on your belt. You right off of it. It's credit us. For our state, they never got enough fiat money to pay us what we worth. Get that out your mind. So we able to transfer it over now and make it a credit to our state that we can run off of it through sovereign claims. That's having a sovereign venue. So indigenous, they can't give you no indigenous contract. They can't get outside of the jurisdiction of the state. They go get apostilles and say they got an apostille from the state, but that's number 2. They can't do anything outside the state. That's why that crew back in the day, that Ali Muhammad crew, they thought they can lead that contract they had in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that they got authenticated when Condoleezza Rice was in office. They got number 2. They didn't get no one like we did. So they tried to leave Philadelphia and come down to Georgia and say they're going to set up all these Native American hubs and all that kind of crap back in the day. And I told them they lost their minds. That's why you see they ain't got that contract no more. That boy in Canada got kicked out. He tried to do the same stuff with that. He had no jurisdiction. He tried to attach himself to the games of government. See, so, there ain't nobody out there got nothing that's worth a damn. You got people out there trying to get nationality, say they Washistaw or Washistaw Mirror, they done copy claim or copyright or traded. Excuse me, counts. They done stole the original nationality I wrote. The one that Crown Prince El-Bey did for me, I wrote that. That's my problem. I let Zakor take that copy and nationalize United Washistaw DW. But that comes under my jurisdiction. So now you got people out there who done copy that nationality, and now they're trying to say they nationalizing under that same venue. Eventually, they got to come to our court. It ain't came to our attention, to that level, and they dealing with the corporation, the state. They dealing with them, arguing with them, all that crap. See, as we finish emerging, the state gonna allow us or tell us that these cats is attempting to attach themselves to our jurisdiction. And they can't hide that, so then they're gonna have to come before our court. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably sitting in one of our institution jails for years because who gonna vouch for them? United States ain't gonna vouch for them because basically they say that if they say they got nationality paperwork, they done expatriated from the United States. So all these people that saying all this paperwork say they nationalized of this group or this group. Well, you're actually saying you part of yourself from the United States, so why you still using their Social Security card? Or why you still using their bank then? See, so that's all fraud. So you got a lot of more signs out there that tell you how to live a better life or all that kind of stuff. You got people that try to sell that secure party paperwork out there again. You feel me? Your secure party paperwork, you got a venue at. So, they want to be a secure party creditor. They can slang certain paperwork through trust law. I mastered that. We mastered that crap. But you still got to have a venue. Why? Because you still, even on the trust law, you still got to have a seller. So if your seller ain't outside the jurisdiction of the United States or the state, you still in the venue. As a seller on our trust, the seller is over here under this venue. Then he got a trust over here under their venue. So they can operate on that side. You feel me? And under that secure party trust, civil, $21 civil surety bond, all that stuff you gotta have on that side to operate that trust brokerage contract properly. All right. So we talking about over here. We ain't in a rush to open up nationality. Because we got certain things we got to do behind the scenes to move our state. So we're not really in a rush to open up nationality. But we're gonna open up the door so folks who want to study, they can come and study and learn how to be a national and our way of governance. You feel me? But right now we too close to me coming to my seat doing contracts with foreign states. To open up that door right now, because if we open up the door right now, it's gonna be going back and forth because we got to go back and answer questions that we don't answer 5 years ago, 3 years ago. So we got to set the university up so you come in the university and study through the university, and you can get a lot of that stuff through the university and going through the classes. You know what I mean? So that help that question out?
Yes, Emperor.
Cool.
Gratitude, Emperor. I yield the floor.
All right, cool. Come on.
Thank you.
Continue to read Crisis Management and Social Leadership. Diamond. Humanitarian response during crisis, administered tax relief, imported wheat, and distributed resources during the famines of 1776 through 82, and plague outbreak in 1779 through 80. His interventions preserved public order and loyalty.
That's why they say he signed that treaty because of the plague.
Okay.
Part of the reason he signed that treaty. So you see everything going on. 1776, the famines. 1782, bam. Then 1779, he signed the treaty in 1786. So you see through 80, so you see all that plague. That was because they couldn't build the ships, the Great Plague there. They couldn't build the ships. So he was forced for survival. Well, that's true. That's another day. Come on.
Intellectual engagement, Diamond. Alliance with the ulama, He cultivated a productive relationship with the religious scholars, in parentheses ulama, drawing their support for reforms and reinforcing his legitimacy. Strategic diplomacy and intelligence, Diamond. Secret intelligence coordination, fostered covert ties with Spanish-Canarian figures like Luis Unzaga and the Galvez brothers, using this network to facilitate early recognition of U.S. all caps independence. For Diamond, trailblazing all caps U.S. recognition, on 20 December 1777, became the first head of state to recognize all caps U.S. independence, granting American ships their access to Moroccan ports and laying the groundwork for the 1786 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Personal and dynastic details. Diamond, lineage and family, born in Fez, in parentheses 1710, brief rule in 1748, succeeded father Abdullah IV in 1757, married several consorts, notably Lala Fatima bint Suleiman an English/Irish-born Lala Sagetta, space, and fathered heirs Moulay Hissam, Yasid, Suleiman, and others. Diamond, unique heritage, : his cosmopolitan alliances, including marriage to European women, underscore his openness and diplomatic adaptability. Attachment to His Majesty Sidi Mohammed Ibn Abdallah Al-Khatib to Amexem, parentheses, North America.
Say his name again. Say his appellation again.
Sidi Mohammed Ibn Abdallah Al-Khatib.
Ibn. Sidi Muhammad Ibn Abdullah Al-Khatib. I think that's Khatib. Come on.
Khatib. To Amexem, North America. Number 1, Imperial jurisdiction by treaty law on 20 December 1777. His Majesty became the first international sovereign to recognize the United States.
There you go again. We got to straighten that out.
Small U.
That's cool.
Often
Recognize the Union States Society of America.
recognize the Union Society States of America, offering sanctuary to American vessels and granting access to Moroccan ports.
Union States Society of America. U, small u dot S dot capital A of capital A dot. That's how they used to spell it. Yeah. Union States Society of America. That's who they signed a treaty with. That's where they got it in the history books, the United States of America, behind that small u. As if the United States existed in 1777.
That's right.
They say they signed the Constitution in 1790, right? So that made United States come to existence when? 1790, 4 March, man. So what was it before then? So the treaty was signed in 86. United States didn't exist. It was ratified 18 July 1787. The United States didn't exist. You feel me? That's 3 years away from, that's 3 years away. You feel me? When they wrote the Constitution in 1787, the United States didn't exist. 17 September, where the United States was. They had nothing. Come on. You feel me?
So when we had the Moore presidents, John Hanson and all the 1781 and down.
They were Continental Congress presidents, yeah.
Okay.
They had 1-year terms back then.
Continental Congress president, not
Continental Congress, right. They're the one who signed that treaty.
Okay.
That's why they got Adams and them saying plenipotentiaries.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So, Emperor, that means that the Continental Army precedes the so-called birth of this country.
Oh, hell yeah. The Continental
That's
Army is what the 100 million in gold that Sidi Muhammad lent to the colonialists or
Right.
colonizers that formed the Continental Army, Continental Navy, and the Continental Marines that fought the Revolutionary War. How you think they got? Who funded?
Right.
Then when they attempted to steal it, because they didn't want to pay it back, so France and Spain stepped in, and England made them form a constitution. That's why you got the Constitution, small u, for the United Small U States of America. You feel me? Small u. That's why I say all debt before the Constitution in 1790, all the debt and everything before they signed that Constitution is what? Still relevant because of the treaty and the 100 million in gold. So the Constitution itself is gold. It's backed by gold. The Constitution for the United Small U States of America. When they came in and redid the Constitution in 1871, they lost that privilege. That's why you got, they created a different type of citizen, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm all that different
Right.
type of citizen they say they created. A citizen that had to pay the what? The regime, the military regime. Trying to get it now? You didn't get no more privilege.
Oh yeah. Mm.
You lost them treaties. So now you became a different type of citizen. A different type of citizen do what? Pay taxes. Cause you think about it now. Look at all taxes you pay now. You don't get the rolls, fits, nothing, none. That's coming out of the state pocket, not the tax pocket. You feel me? So where all that loop going? To the military. Spain, Britain, all of them still got ties to this contract. You feel me? Come on.
Okay, I'll read that. No, go back. Yes. I'm going to read that one over. Imperial jurisdiction by treaty law of 20 December 1777. His Majesty became the first international sovereign to recognize the Union States Society of America, offering sanctuary to American vessels and granting access to Moroccan ports. This act initiated the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, in parentheses, signed, 23 June 1786, ratified, base, 18 July 1787. Filed at the Library of Congress, this document declared, quote, the United States of America acknowledges that they are under the protection of the Emperor of Morocco for the purpose of peace, commerce, and amity, ... end quote. This clause.
See, hold on. You see how they write it in the Congress? See? Filed at the Library of Congress. You see how they wrote it up? Because they control. They say the United States of America acknowledges. No, that was the Union States Society of America acknowledges that they are under the protection of the Emperor of Morocco for the purpose of peace, commerce, and amity. See, so you see how they write it up in there? It's like they giving the United States some status. And they got it up there, 1787, United States didn't exist. You starting to see it now?
Like United States of America's major, that capital T on there.
But I got that part, but that didn't exist in 1787, because
I got
it said, so it should have read in the Library of Congress, it should have read the Union States Society of America acknowledges that they are under, you could have said the Union States Society of America via the Continental Congress, okay, of America acknowledges that they are under protection of the Emperor. See? So you saying now, because that's a whole wrinkle there. You saying the United States of America said they're under protection of the Emperor of Morocco? Shit. I made them change that real quick.
And you're the word power too?
You gotta look at it, you gotta read the words, say they got it in here. See, he said the file at Library of Congress, that's not true. See? Because you see people reading, don't understand. They think like it says right there, ratified 1787. The United States didn't exist 1790. Interesting, right?
It is. That indeed.
See, now you got to keep it like that because you got it out of Library of Congress, but you know for a fact, that's not true. You feel me? You going to facts about it.
That would be the Second Continental Congress at this point, right?
Second Continental Congress, that's right.
Got a question in the chat.
Come on.
This is from YouTube. This is from Shi Kowa Charlie. Says, how are contracts created?
Well, it's an agreement, like it's an agreement between both parties. And it depends on if they got sovereignty, they can write treaties if they got land. If not, you got to have a constructive agreement, they call, where two parties come together to agree on the terms of the contract. Some call it a security agreement now. That's why you see the United States doing a lot of security agreements not they can't because they really got no power to do no treaties. So you see them doing a lot of security agreements, and then they come there and violate that. So contracts supposed to be agreed upon between both parties. And if you got a jurisdiction like we do now, if you violate that contract, we can bring you back under our jurisdiction to our court to make sure you stand on that contract. So it's just two parties agreed upon whatever action you're going to take and whatever you're going to agree upon. You're going to build a hotel, you're going to create a military contract, a peace contract, family contract, whatever. You agree between parties, both parties sign. So but the venue falls under, you got to really decide where the venue falls. The venue should be at the, like the seller who make the contract, create the contract. But if you got the contract within both of you United States citizens, well, that jurisdiction fall in the United States. If it's dealing with you and somebody from Africa or Brazil, South America, whatever, you have to come together and see which venue or who got superiority over that contract to where the venue gonna come in if that contract is violated and what jurisdiction is gonna fall under if the contract is violated, so you can retrieve your losses or whatever. But that's what a contract does. And then you can, of course, you can go to Black's Law and all that. They're gonna give you that Webster's what a contract is, but it's just between two parties. To me, y'all got anything else y'all want to add to that?
It's the second part to that.
Yes, so the second part is, if it consists of two or more parties with signatures, then how can a birth record contract be for the children who arrived if the child cannot and is not competent enough to sign?
That's a good question, because that's why you got to read the contract in fine print. So if you got you read the contract in fine print, okay, well then at 18, when they say you become of age, well, that's when you could do it like we did, a security agreement, UCC1, and you can become a secure, or you have a secure interest. Okay, you can have a secure interest in that birth rate contract because it's a corporation contract. You're a live being. So your mama signed you into the system as an informant, but when you become, I think, 18 in some states, 21 in some states, 17 in some states, but they say grown up, you can do a security agreement and you can attach yourself to a UCC1, and you got to have a bond too to that birth rate contract. You got to realize that's what the Moors out there attempt to do, but they don't realize that you just got a secure interest in there. You can never be the executor over that account. So if you can't be the executor, you can never. That's why you gotta have a secure interest in it. So that's how you can get out of that sense, because you wasn't just born. You couldn't sign yourself over as an informant. Of course you couldn't. But that's why in their rulings, they got a 18. You say you're a grown up, 21 someplace, and you can go in and supposed to be able to restructure that contract. That was basically what the Pope Francis was saying in the motu proprio when he wrote the motu proprio back in 213 for them to settle the account. That's what he was talking about. Settle the account so you can bring you up to date with your birth rate account, where they supposed to came in. When you say September 2013, they supposed to came in 1st September 2013, yeah, and invited different A, good with A to Z, whatever, make a difference. And then you supposed to be able to go into a room, and you supposed to be able to they're supposed to ask you the question: did you want to take over your birth rate contract, or do you want the United States to continue doing your contract? That's basically what the Pope's civil order, motu proprio, said when he says for failure to close the account. That's why he was talking about the birth rate account. So they're supposed to close that account. They keep it open. So they keep they keep it open after you're dead now. It's like they write it on bond paper. See, so that's what the Pope was talking about in the what do you write? Motu proprio? Yeah. And then when they didn't abide by that, after September 1st, 2013, he came with the civil orders in 2014, and then he came and set the record straight, letting everybody know that his authority was someone's on the land who got more authority than him. You talk to him, and that his authority couldn't protect them no more from that fraud that they had created on the American citizens, all the citizens of the world, through that so-called trust that they created. You know, what they call that trust back in the day? The birth record trust. What was the one they called in the Vatican back in the Knights of Templar was around when they created that trust? We went over there one time. But that's what they did. Did I answer that question? You good on that? Y'all good?
The chat is clear.
All right. Everybody else good on that?
Yes.
The gratitude. It's a good deal.
Okay, continuing. Number 2, authority by imperial scroll and decree. Under Imperial-American jurisprudence, the imperial jurisdiction of Sidi Muhammad III was never limited to geographic Morocco. As confirmed in Imperial CMYE-IRK, all caps documents, space, quote, Emperor Sidi Muhammad III's territorial sovereignty extended to the lands known as, single quote, North Gate, Al-Morocco, end quote, now a Mexam or North America, end quote. This territorial extension operates under, diamond, all caps ICCMYE, in parentheses, Imperial Constitution of the Continental Moorish Yamasee Empire. Diamond, Imperial Directive -0004 capital Z. Diamond, Imperial Declarations retroactive to 1774, 1786, and 789 A.D.
Yeah, they're going back to Idris, 789. 786 is the treaty, 774 the revolution. So they carry y'all through everything. Here it says extending lands known as, quote, Northgate Al-Morocco. Well, that should be Northgate Al-Morocco and Al-Morocco, a Maxim Al-Morocco. Northgate Al-Morocco is North Africa. That's Northgate Al-Morocco. Al-Morocco is the Maxim America, North America. All right, so let's get that straight, right? So make sure that way SoFlo know.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Copy that.
Let's see, what did we get down? Okay, next slide, please. Number 3, recorded recognition in American archives over 200 diplomatic crown were recorded between 1777 and 1790, confirming,
They got to read that again.
diamond. Okay, 3, recorded recognition in American archives over 200 diplomatic correspondences between the Continental Congress and the Moroccan Crown were recorded between 1777 and 1790, confirming, diamond, ongoing jurisdictional negotiations with American entities. Diamond, custodianship rule. Custodianship role of the emperor over Moorish subjects and land relations within a Maxim. Diamond.
He just said over Moorish subject. So if you telling you a Moor or you're a Moorish American, okay, but your jurisdiction is under the President of the United States. So you're not under jurisdiction of the emperor or at this place, Kingdom of Morocco. You definitely ain't under jurisdiction of the country of the United States, that state small s. You feel me? So if you say you're a Moor or you Moorish, well, you supposed to be under jurisdiction of the emperor, which is the jurisdiction of the Kingdom of Morocco right now. So you got jurisdiction under the United States of America. So how you claiming to be indigenous if you tell you right here, you got a custodianship role of the emperor over more subjects. It makes sense to you?
Yeah. Okay. Next diamond. This is reinforced by George Washington's 1789 letter to the emperor, stating, quote, great and magnanimous friend, space, the United States of America have not forgotten your majesty's past acts of friendship, end quote.
Like I said, go back. I just got to question anything George said. I got an issue. I got an issue with anything George Washington.
Go back.
When they say he said it again, go down. What were you at?
You need to go back.
Oh. One more. Where George Washington at?
We did crisis management and social leadership. We did that one.
Oh, he did? Yeah, because he got to go down.
Next slide.
Give me 1 second. I lost it.
Y'all think George Washington for his word, right? Like, shit. Remember they said they cut the feds off and take the senators off. They look just like the slaves. They say this is reinforced by George Washington, 1789 letter to the emperor. See, George Washington, it just don't make sense. Because they're giving George Washington was the president of a corporation, United States of America, by Benjamin Franklin in 1789. He was the 10th president of that company. So how did George Washington talk to the emperor in 1789 when he didn't become president in 1790? You see, that don't make sense.
Indeed.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck is George Washington to think that he can talk to the emperor without no status? Because he's a general? Or he's the president of a United States corporation, United States of America corporation, run by Benjamin Franklin, who's doctor in England. You know, the charter was signed in England. So, you see? So it don't make sense, do it?
No, it doesn't.
Look, the United States of America have not forgotten. The United States of America didn't exist. But he must be talking about the corporation there, right?
Yes.
He was talking about the corporation that Benjamin Franklin owned through Britain. If he's saying this, did the United States of America? That was a corporation created by Benjamin Franklin that was doctored in England. In what year, Mojo? 1754? You said 1789 here, which don't make sense. That he was talking to the emperor. He had no damn status talking to no damn emperor. You feel me? Have not forgotten your majesty's past acts of friendship. ... End quote. Y'all stupid. Come on.
And magnanimous friend. Magnanimous. That's bigger than life.
I mean, for real, man. For real. Don't even make sense to do it.
No, it doesn't. Next slide.
That's over here straightening it up, right?
Yes. 4. Territorial symbolism and constitutional authority. His Majesty is codified in imperial law as, diamond, sovereign of, quote, the United small U States small s in Morocco and North America, end quote. Diamond, holder of the imperial scroll of a Mexim, carrying spiritual and legal right over North America via, space, treaty law, Moorish diplomatic succession, and IMYRS, all caps, dash, recognized scribe authority, in parentheses, Al-Khatib, scroll office, close parentheses.
Hey, Protector, you said something just now. Got my brain going. So, Washington supposedly wrote this letter in 89, and according to what they say, the Emperor left here a transition in 90, and the United States doesn't become the United States till 90. They say December 1st, shortly after he became the president, he wrote this letter. Oh, am I bugging out? You there, Protector? Protector? Oh, yeah.
Y'all got something for me? I missed something?
Yeah, now you shoot. I was asking you a question.
Oh, I stepped away for a second. What you got?
I said, now that you bring it up, it is kind of strange that they say, according to their story, that shortly after Washington becomes the president in 89, he writes this letter. But in actuality, the U.S. doesn't exist till 90, and that's the same year, supposedly, the emperor transition. 90, right?
Right.
Huh. So that's where.
That's why you see I got a question mark behind it, right?
Yeah, because that's the cutting down in the cherry tree. Whatever that
That's
confusion
it. There
is
you
right
go.
there. I got you. Whatever that confusion is, that's the.
So whatever this so-called friendship that George Washington saying, so why he cut his tree down there?
Yeah.
See, it wasn't no damn friendship. It was terrorism, colonialism. You've been on a tear everything. They've been on a tear ever since, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Think about it.
Forked tongue, snake in the grass.
So basically, what you're saying here, and that what you say up there, but the subjects, more subjects. So you got a King Muhammad now, the sixth, okay, and he still represent the treaty. Remember, he sent out said, back in that day when I sent that stuff out, he sent out and said he recognized the treaty, or the Kingdom of Morocco recognized the treaty that they got with the United States of America. Really? Remember? I said, really? Okay, so we got a contract with the United States of America. So that make they recognize what? Your jurisdiction. So all the Moors out there, I'm like, okay, then where you recognize that? They never say he had a treaty with the Georgia, New Jersey, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. There ain't no treaty with them. He said he got a treaty with the United States. So if you're saying you want to be under that flag, that makes you got to be under jurisdiction of who? Kingdom of Morocco. Makes sense, don't it?
That make even more sense in the context of the USA that he's talking about is not the corporate, because that treaty is not with the corporate.
Exactly.
So then you come back through and grab the jure jurisdiction, small.
Now you see it, don't you?
Exactly.
Now you see what Trump, when his last term, he made Muhammad who? The chief commander, remember?
Yeah.
So he made Muhammad the chief commander. That made the United States release all attachment to who? Treaty of Peace Friendship. Because he just made the king. Why King Muhammad need a title as chief commander? For what? Chief commander over that contract, you see?
Wow. Got it.
And you deal with the King of Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco, and dealing with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, you dealing with him as who? Chief commander. Not as the King of King Muhammad the Sixth. That's why you see on paper what I got in there. Attention who? chief commander. You feel me?
Right. And in essence, Trump had to do that because you came and got that seat back. So that
I already got a seat back. Exactly.
it falls back to you. So that's why he can run Vogue now, because there ain't no existence.
Now you see, they don't realize that's why I told you they got a whole.
That's
Now you see the revolt there, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm out here lawless right now. What?
And the whole United States is complete lawless.
Free.
So he trying to bring in a new mega worker and fractionalism they call that old type because they ain't got nothing else to stand on. The senators and everybody know. That's why they sticking with him through thick and thin. You feel me? Because they United States ain't got nothing no more. And all the other world know. That's why you see him back. That's why you see him like, please. You ain't got nobody. You ain't got no jurisdiction no more, homie.
Magic trick is to keep the illusion going as long as possible over here, because these people gonna go to your head.
That's right. Smoke and mirrors. That's the game they've been playing for 400 years. Smoke and mirrors.
Yo, that's
smoke and freaking mirrors.
Wicked.
Give them time to change the contract on them.
Wicked.
Question in the chat. Got a question in the chat. A few.
Come on, bring it.
I don't see a question. I see more of a statement with some. Yeah, it's not a question. It's more of a statement. Daniel Krieger put in the chat. The story goes that 6-year-old George received a hatchet as a gift and, in his youthful enthusiasm, chopped down his father's pride cherry tree. When confronted, he bravely confessed. Then it goes on to say the author behind the myth. This anecdote first appeared in the 5th edition of the Life of Washington, within parentheses 1806, written by Mason Locke Weems, also known as Parson Weems. He was a minister and traveling bookseller who aimed to teach moral lessons through the lives of national heroes. The cherry tree story was his way of illustrating Washington's virtue, even if it meant inventing it.
They got away with them pens, don't they?
See, they got hard put hit by the informant. See, y'all thought I was bullcrap. Look at it. Read it.
It says, in quote, within quotes, informant, in a birth record certificate, within parentheses, contract of record. An informant is the declaring party who submits or verifies the record of birth on behalf of the newly born sovereign being, within parentheses, live born soul. This informant has legal implications under both imperial law and common statutory systems, within parentheses, for example, capital U.S. corporate legal system. Though the jurisdiction and consequence differ dramatically depending on the framework invoked, in colonial / corporate jurisdiction, within parentheses, for example, United States, all caps, Inc., all caps. The informant is typically a mother, father, hospital staff, or medical registrar. By signing as, quote, within quote, informant, they consent to registering the child as a corporate subject under the state jurisdiction. This registers the child into a trust, within parentheses, for example, a, quote, legal fiction, end quote, within quotes, straw man, or estate trust, often tied to the public debt system, Social Security, or commercial bonds. The informant, knowingly or not, acts as a grantor into that trust, within parentheses, for example, under the 1933 United capital U.S. bankruptcy structure.
Yo, it's so crazy how I'm gonna say this, how lack of knowledge will get you caught up and not realize that they lied to you in your face, right? So I put the question that you just asked in the Google, right? So the first part it gave me was what you gave about the mother being informant and everything, but then it goes to proceed to tell me it's not a contract, right? It's crucial to understand that a birth certificate is not a contract, nor does it create a contractual relationship between the individual, the government, or any other entity. And most people will look past that, but then you got to go back and say, well, that's a lie. Why? Because you are a ward of the state, and in order to be a citizen of this country, you have to show proof, which is the birth certificate, which is a freaking contract right there, which causes you to abide by the laws and regulations of this country. Nah?
That's true. The thing about it is they can't get out no matter where they go
Well, you
without a
can't. Well, you can't say laws. You gotta say penal codes.
Penal codes, but still in
The
law.
law, the laws of the United States don't exist on their venue no more. They exist on our venue.
Right.
They on the 1 through 7, right?
Right. Right. And
They got you stats on the penal code through the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. You go look at the Uniform Commercial Code. It's the same code in the state. So wherever state grabbed into the union, like you say, UCC 3-419 commendation, right? So I use Georgia because I know their code. You say Georgia code is 11-3-419. Same code. Now it's a state code. You see? So you don't break a law, you break penal codes. That's why they come and give you a uniform citation. Because it's contract.
Right.
See, so on that uniform citation, it's supposed to be signed under what? It's supposed to be signed under a perjury direct. But it's not signed under perjury direct. They get you to sign it, and then the Solicitor General comes in as the attorney over the record. You know, so the attorney, so the cop don't have to sign it. So the office sign on behalf, which is bullshit, you feel me? Because the cop said you doing 200 miles an hour. You know you weren't doing 200. It's your word against him, but you got to sign it. When you go to court, he got somebody in court that signs on his behalf, which is the Solicitor General, you see? So that's why you can always challenge that ticket. Because the cop never swore that that's what happened. That's part of the traps of the court, you feel me?
Right.
But by you being a corporation, they ain't got to give you full disclosure. But you volunteer to give them full disclosure, don't you? That's your thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, come on. I just added that in.
Okay, next slide.
I mean, you know how many people that read that letter and never seen what y'all just seen? They
Right.
still talking about that on the road. But George Washington talked to them in 1789. You like, dummy. Come on, man. Let me quit.
Okay. Extract the key information from the Imperial Declaration Decree dash Imperial CMYE, all caps, government, all caps, decree, all caps, note 13C in parentheses, E and I declaration to the world dated 22 April 2025. Decree note 13C affirms, quote, the living imperial authority within the ecclesiastical and temporal realms is anchored through the Sharifian-Moorish-Al-Moroccan seat and remains active across the Western Hemisphere, inclusive of all lands defined as a Mexam, end quote. It recognizes imperial succession from the emperors of Al-Morocc, and it, quote, confirms that all pre-1800 sovereign emperors of Al-Morocc, especially Emperor Sidi Muhammad III, maintained spiritual and lawful jurisdiction over lands in the Western Hemisphere, end quote. Imperial jurisdiction, note 13C, .4.2 specifies, quote, the imperial crown seat was never vacated. It operates in full continuity through sovereign retroactivity and is protected under the 1786 Treaty and Imperial Directives 0003 capital Z through 001Z, corrections, through Emperor's Directive 0003Z, capital Z, through 0013, capital Z. A Mexim defined, space, quote, a Mexim is the unceded name for what colonizers later termed the Americas, semicolon. It remains the rightful land inheritance of the Al-Moroccan-Moorish imperial houses, end quote.
That's true. That's true. That's why I told you, I'll go back to when he signed it. I raised his flag, see? All the way back.
I just caught a gem, Protector. You want to hear this?
Come on.
To the Emperor of Morocco, this is dated 31st March, 1791. Somebody told me what's wrong with this statement. Just listen close. Great and magnanimous friend, separated by an immense ocean from the more ancient nations of the earth and little connected with the politics or proceedings, we are late in learning the events which take place among them, and later in conveying to them our sentiments thereon. The death of the late emperor, your father and our friend of glorious memory, is one of those events in which, through distance, attracts our notice and concern. I'm going to stop there. Did anybody just catch that?
His father?
His father is the one they got the treaty with. Somebody's father, because I didn't know the emperor had a son. And this is 1791, so the United States just coming into...
Just got situated in 1790.
And you saying your father, our friend.
And they say he died in 1790. This is 1791. So they're talking about his father. Said he here.
That's what we talking about. Right? Not his son, which would have been a crown prince at this time, right?
Exactly. And now he takes his seat.
And so then watch this. It says, event which through distant attracts our notice and concern. Receive great and good friend, my sincere sympathy with you on that loss, and permit me at the same time to express the satisfaction with which I learned the what? Accession of so worthy a successor to the imperial throne of Morocco. And I offer you the homage of my sincere congratulations. May the days of your majesty's life be many and glorious, and may they ever mark the area during which a great people shall have been most prosperous and happy under the best and happiest of sovereigns. And I yield there. That's crazy.
You know, what's also interesting is that, you know,
hold on, man, it's new. Okay, I thought they said they didn't have no connection to Morocco.
That's
right.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Hold on a minute. I thought the Senate said where y'all get this madness from, huh?
Hold on. Check the top of the next paragraph. The late emperor, very soon after the establishment of our infant nation, manifested his royal regard and amity to us by many friendly and generous acts, and particularly by the protection of our citizens and their commerce with his subjects, and as a further instance of his desire to promote our prosperity and intercourse with his realms, he entered into a treaty of amity and commerce with us for himself and his successors to continue 50 years. That's
that 50-year wonder go. You see, 50 years.
Right.
So what happened in so you see how revolutionary is, right? The colonialists. So see, you see 50 years. So you know when they signed the treaty. So then they signed in 1836 the treaty of September 16th to get out the 50 year, to remove the 50-year window out of the treaty. Mm-hmm. And then they, for whatever they had to do, they had to work on it. So they said it was effective when 28, which is interesting because that's the day I opened up the gates of hell, saying 28 January, 1837. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
See, so you see, they had to get it signed in the 50 year, but whatever they had to do behind the scene to get that 50 year out, that's why they call it Treaty of September 16th, 1836, effective 28 January, 1837. See, so now they out of that 50-year window, So now they feel like they can go do what they want to do because they got Morocco off the back. And now they worshiping other nations. You got French came in and put their flag on top of Moroccan flag because of what? Territory, because they know Al-Marak was over here. That's the kingdom. You feel me? So you got to look at that thing two ways. Protection of the Al-Moroccan throne, because now Al-Marak became what? The embassy of Morocco. That's where you got the United States of America, country of United States, that state docks at, which is Al-Marak or Al-Morocco. So he got docked over to Al-Marak, which is North Africa, you feel me, through the the Barber Treaties. So you say the Barber Treaties when? So that was with the emperor's son who signed the Barber Treaties to bring Libya and all that under one house.
Right.
You see?
Right.
Yeah, so just
That makes sense to you now, right?
Look what they say next, Protect. They say, just to your point, the justice and magnanimity of your majesty leaves us full of confidence that the treaty will meet your royal patronage also, and it will give me great satisfaction to be assured that the citizens, Big C, of the United States, caps you, of America, may accept from your Imperial Majesty the same protection and kindness which the example of your illustrious father has taught them to accept from those who occupy the throne of Morocco, and to have your royal word that they may count on a due observation of the treaty which connects the two nations in friendship. That's
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that ties up too earlier when they was talking about the Sultan, his son. His son was the one that took on that title as the Sultan. It wasn't his father. But they applied that title Sultan to his father to downplay the fact that he was the emperor. But it was his son that did all that.
Take away some of that authority, because like they fight no Queen English, they what? We can have no more emperors.
Right, exactly.
But you see that longevity of that treaty. You don't need no passport to go to Morocco. You can go to Morocco with your driver's license. That's part of that contract with the treaty. Morocco never has to pay for any goods coming to America. That's why you don't see them talk about Morocco with this tariff. They exempt from that bullshit. You feel me? Y'all, that woke up a lot of people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I ask this question
Yes.
as well, Emperor, and until you came, they really couldn't get out that treaty though.
They couldn't.
Because the emperor wasn't no longer here, and even though until you came is the jurisdiction.
Listen, remember, you got to realize something. You missed a very important part.
Okay.
Emperor, Sultan. Why didn't his son pick up Emperor? His son picked up Sultan, which what? Diluted that authority. Now it's down to a damn king.
Good point.
Exactly.
So you see they kept France and all them behind the scene kept taking away the what? The absolute that the emperor had. Because all of them feeding off of it now. So now they all the way down to a king, Muhammad VI. That's executive monarch. You got three levels of monarchy. You got absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, and executive monarchy. And 95% of the world is executive monarchy. You feel me?
Clear.
So that explains why when you came on the scene, they kept going over there.
Of course they did. They had to set the record straight. That's why the Pope went down there for the first time in March 2019, because he got that declaration decree on the 20th of March. And he was in Morocco by the end of March, because he was the what? He was the custodian over who? Morocco. So that anger had been brewing since then. And so that was the first time the Pope has ever stepped foot, or any Pope has ever stepped foot in Morocco. Now you see why. Because I came in and did what? I came in and raised the flag. So King Muhammad wanted to know what the fuck going on.
Wow.
The what? An emperor that got, see, Next thing you know, you see Trump do what? Make him chief commander, meaning the United States ain't got no authority on that treaty no more. That treaty on me. That's why you see that flag up here. Makes sense, don't it?
It does.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You know, I just caught something else in the national.
So what you got here? Hold on, so John, what you got here? So you got the de jure United States, country of United States, and then you got the 50 star flag was what? De facto 50 United States of America, United States Corporation. Start seeing two different, right? This flag got equity. That flag got citizens or debt. You feel me?
Got it. That makes so much sense.
All right, so John, what
I was gonna say I'm in the National Archives and I just peeped something. So they got this letter that's dated 1971. 1791, 31st March, right, to the Emperor of Morocco, and I just read this letter to y'all. And then if I go to
see how they keep mixing apples and oranges? Now you got something saying 1791 with Emperor Morocco. Well, I thought his son took on the Sultan.
Look, and I got the same letter now to the Emperor of Morocco. It's dated Philadelphia, 31st December, 1794. Same exact letter. And on this one, as George Washington by the President of the United States of America and Randolph, Secretary of State. Those are the signatories to this letter.
Yeah, because he took office in 1790. So now he is the president of the United States. Remember, they took the corporation that George Washington created, Benjamin Franklin created, the United States of America Corporation. It's a company. And then when they got the Constitution, they put that Constitution in the corporate, but with the white privileges of the emperor, it says we the people. So the people, they receive off of that trust, or that Constitution had equity in it up until Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
So that's why Pope said what? Abraham Lincoln was the last what? Republic president. Everything out there is a fraud, including the one you got out there now.
Here's something else interesting, Protector. So I just told you who signed the 94 one. On this one, it says the signatures is G.O. : Washington by the President T.H. : which is Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
So those are two different signatures. You got one by the President of the United States and the other one by the President Thomas Jefferson. So that's the Continental Congress thing, right?
No, Thomas Jefferson came out Abraham Lincoln. They say after George Washington.
Yeah, but on the first letter it signed the President Thomas Jefferson.
In what year?
91.
Well, you gotta go check and see what year he became the president. If not, that's a fraudulent document because he was plenipotentiary when they were dealing with the treaty. That made he was under authority of the King of England.
So in both of these, I'm reading from the National Archives what they got already.
That's why I tell you. Remember, I told you we was at the El-Bey, and I went out and get something to eat about 2:00 in the morning. I don't think there's one bar, and that Congress lady was in there. So we sitting down having a beer, and she seen my nationality badge. So we got into that conversation. So she said when she found out Georgia authenticated our state, her eye just got so big because she's like, Georgia. I said, yeah, Georgia. She said, Georgia. Georgia? You talking about Georgia? You know, because of racism, right? So she said they done went up to D.C. and knocking them doors down. But they would not give them that information that they've been looking for because they know they're more to the story. But they got it locked under. She said they won't give us nothing. She said they won't give us nothing on the treaty. They won't give us anything with Morocco or nothing. Now you come back, you say they done gave y'all a state now? She's like, oh, this get ready to blow up.
So I found another part to it, Protector.
You hear me?
Yeah,
Come on.
It says that the Civil War in Morocco was continuing, and they got a reference to check. So what happened was, and it says, and this letter was appropriated, and this is the 94 letter a copy of the first one to any of the contenders, all of whom were sons of the late Emperor Sidi Muhammad, who died in March 1790. So this fool wrote a letter to all the sons. He wrote the letter and he didn't address it to none. He just called them all emperors of Morocco. And like you said, that's fraudulent, ain't it?
That's why I say people. I tell you what that girl told me that worked for the city council of that little town out there off North Carolina and El-Bey. I remember that little town. It's a redneck town. Out there on the coast of North Carolina, but because they won't let you get in. So you find like the more science and dealing with the Great Seal back in the day in early years. Oh, they were gung ho on research. I mean, research, digging, but they couldn't get but so far. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see all the books come out, all the stuff out there on the market now, talking about SETI and all that kind of stuff. People trying to attach themselves to it, and they say they got a claim. Okay, that's fine. You know how many claims you can write, but you got to go before the judge to get that claim settled, because you don't have jurisdiction to carry that claim to the international court, because the international court only recognizes sovereign states, not sovereign citizens. So you got a lot of Moors that got all these damn claims because they go up there with CMYE and everything at the AA number and all that stuff that's registered at the Library of Congress. Let me say it again. Library of Congress. You want to say it one more time? Library of Congress. It don't give you no apostille authority to do nothing. It's just a filing. Where in CMYE, where it was the Zodiac Constitution. Now, okay, that don't mean shit if you ain't got no venue. Right. Because the Zodiac Constitution is attached to the Moorish Science Temple, which is attached to Noble Drew Ali, the fifth Marquis de Masson Rouge, and that's a corporate contract filed in Cook County. Ain't got no sovereignty on that bullshit. You feel me? So you got all these Moors out here on the market claiming to be what? Part of Moorish Science Temple, part of Drew Ali, which traces back to that charter that comes out of Cook County, Illinois, which ain't got no venue. Why? It's under jurisdiction of Illinois. You can't step outside of Illinois.
Right.
And now you say you are a Muslim with no definition. At least the Muslims say they want the peace, but what the fuck is a Muslim?
Right. What is that?
Then you say you worship Allah. Get out of here. Okay? Well, the flag belonged to King Muhammad. So if King Muhammad worships Allah in a certain format, you should be on his page, right?
Right.
But you heard that when they flew the flag in New York and Philadelphia in 219, what they say? They stood up and say what? What they say? Oh, we don't. Well, we recognize the king of Morocco, but we worship Allah. Like, man, shut up.
Right.
And we come from, me, when I come from Allah, Allah the grandson of Enlil. So you feel me?
Right,
so I'm like,
right.
Get the story right.
I got one more part for you, Protector.
Come on.
It says, quote, we are informed that Moulay Suleiman. All right, hold on. It said, however, GW probably expected that the recipient would be Muwali Suleiman ibn Muhammad, who was in fact the eventual victor on 24 December. The Philadelphia Gazette and Universal Daily Advertiser announced, quote, we are informed that Moulay Suleiman, who has so far subdued his rivals, has to be generally acknowledged to be the Emperor of Morocco, is irritated against the United States, and that his cruisers are probably instructed to capture American vessels. It is said upon authentic grounds that the President of the United States did some time ago, as soon as he heard that this danger was growing serious and that Moulay Suleiman was sufficiently established to be treated with adopted measures for the accommodation of all differences between him and the United States, end quote. So,
But I think they said they didn't have no connection to Morocco.
So they say.
Irritated with the U.S. back then. Woo. Yeah.
What you got?
Nah, yeah, I'm good.
There's no hands in the queue, nothing in the chat. YouTube moderators, anything in the YouTube? Okay. I yield the floor to the reader. Daniel Buckett.
All right, next slide. Attachment to a maxim _ pursuant to Imperial Note 13C. His Majesty Sidi Muhammad bin Abdullah Al-Khatib is lawfully and spiritually attached to a maxim (North America) by Treaty of Peace and Friendship (1786 through 87). Formal diplomatic recognition of the all caps U.S. and jurisdictional extension of Moroccan sovereignty. Imperial Declaration Decree Note 13C affirms, Diamond, the imperial crown never vacated its seat, and sovereignty flows in uninterrupted continuity from Emperor Sidi Muhammad III through present-day imperial custodians. Diamond, the Sharifian-Moorish-Al-Moroccan lineage is the recognized imperial line for governance across the maxim, protected under Directive 0003 Z through 0013 Z. Diamond, a maxim is acknowledged as unceded imperial territory, not lawfully part of any external jurisdiction unless granted by treaty, t. In parenthesis E.G. 1786.
That's right. That's why I came and raised the flag. See? You can't attach yourself. Why? That's why you got to raise the flag. So Maxim been under me. Well, I told people. Why? Because I can't raise the flag. Just told you. Part of any external jurisdiction that's granted by treaty. You feel me?
Okay.
Then you go up here to the one before. It says what? 0003Z. That's what? Act of state.
Right.
Diplomatic arrival.
Notice of apostille.
Apostille authority to write your own apostilles. That's the act of state, the cruise ship, not speedboat that President Obama says.
Right.
That's directed. So you see why they activated all this? You see? So when Obama said act of state, the cruise ship, not speedboat, what do you say? Because you own a Maxim now. That's why it says cruise ship. You own a Maxim.
Mm.
You didn't hear me, did you?
Hear you.
I don't think they heard me.
We hear you.
We hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Tell them
Yeah.
about it.
On the maximum.
Walking with you.
Facts.
That's why he said act of state, the cruise ship, not speedboat. Remember?
Yes.
They're all different meaning, huh?
Right.
Back in 2009, that shit was so far over your head. You couldn't understand nothing, could you?
No.
Yeah, I feel good.
What did Obama say? You officially raised the emperor's flag. Then he came out and said it was an ocean liner, remember?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Then he came out and said it was an aircraft carrier. He said, damn.
yeah. Keep going. The more he listens.
Like, damn. Like, what this man got? You remember Tucker? Tucker said, when I bought that full-faith credit back in 16, and that colonel at the Pentagon, he said, what he say? He said, you know Emperor Khufu? He said, yeah, I just talked to him. He said, can you send him a message? Tucker said, yeah, what you got? He said, "Could you tell him to come on? Could he please come on? Because he holding up the whole damn world."
Back.
He
Hercules. Hercules.
never got my answer though about the full page credit. He was sending a message from the Pentagon to come tell me to move the ship, and I said, "Well, when they tell me to move it, I move it, and that's now." You feel me?
Yeah.
Because I had to grow into it. You can't just move a ship without, they come in and take over your whole ship. Now y'all see why I had to walk small with a big stick, right?
That's right.
That's right. Know the border.
Right.
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 Come on, okay.
Okay, next, Diamond. CMYE-IRK, all caps, codification confirms Emperor Sidi Muhammad III's inclusion as a living scroll holder and territorial sovereign over Amexem, echoed through both constitutional and imperial treaty small t records.
El-Bey. Remember? El-Bey is what now? IRS. So when they say IRS, what?
Codification.
That's right. Confirmed. Why? Because we picked up all the records. You know me. I don't believe nothing. So if our bishop told me that shit stories, I gotta know. You feel me?
Right.
So that means I gotta go and make sure that I got somewhere to go dock all our history, our story. Because they can't hold it no more. That's why they talk about moving the White House out to Colorado. You notice that, right? You can talk to them through the bench front room. That's treaty room. That's not where you talk to the United States. Outside of that, you fall back in that jurisdiction. That's why you see when Morocco came over to that bench front room, right?
Right. Right.
That's treaty room. See? All right, we good? Come on.
Next slide. Additional accomplishments for His Majesty, Emperor Sidi Muhammad III. Quote, founder of modern maritime Essaouira, employing European architects in Morocco, urban renewal, end quote. Diamond, quote, architect of administrative reform, dissolved the Black Guard to strengthen central authority, end quote. Diamond, quote, humanitarian ruler, introduced famine relief measures during plague and drought, end quote. Diamond, quote, sought partnership with religious scholars, in parentheses, ulama, integrating intellectual support into policy, end quote. Diamond, quote, instrumental in secret diplomatic intelligence and an inaugural U.S. CAPS recognition on 20 December 1777, end quote. Diamond, quote, dynastic continuity, father to key successors and husband to both Sharifian and European consorts, end quote. These enrichments will present a more nuanced portrait of Muhammad III, not just a builder and treaty maker, small t, but a crisis manager, reformer, cultural innovator, and diplomatic strategist. That ends the biography of Muhammad, the Emperor Muhammad III of Morocco. How you?
Nothing in the chat.
Yeesh.
Questions?
YouTube moderator, in a question in YouTube. Anything from YouTube?
Nothing in YouTube at the moment.
No hands in the queue.
That was good. That was good, by Owen.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's down for our archives. And it got Imperial seal on it now, right?
That's right.
Yes.
All right, now we got some good questions, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Who we got?
That'll be me. Let's get started. So, sovereign-align questions with full explanations and alignment. Document source, space, within quotes, Emperor Mohammed III of Morocco, 19 July 2025. Imperial reference, space, ROHM, ECMYE-RKR, ICCMYE-ECRK, all caps. Decrees 00010 through 004ZA. Again, Salam Alaikum Ashawuth, His Imperial Majesty, number nationals, and listening audience. We're now engaged in the question, answer, and explanations portion of our call. Next slide. Question 1, space. Who was Sidi Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Khatib, more widely known as during his reign? Answer, space. He was known as Emperor Mohammed III of Morocco. Explanation, space. Sidi Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Khatib is inscribed in the Imperial archives as Emperor Mohammed III, who ruled Morocco from 1757 to 1790. Next slide. Question number 2. What year and city was Muhammad III born in? Answer, space. He was born in 1710 in Fez, al-Maghrib. Explanation, space. The document specifies that Muhammad III was born in 1710 in the Moroccan city of Fez.
That Fez in Africa or Fez in America? North America.
That's Fez.
By the way, it's Salam Alaikum. But come on.
You got me again.
So he was what, 80 when he passed?
1710 to 1790, yes.
Got you another 8.
Next slide.
I say you didn't answer my question. I said, well, that Fez in Africa, Morocco, Kingdom of Morocco, or that Fez in, over in Illinois, you got all kind of cities that's known, that's renamed. Remember, we went to the crossing, came right across Egypt, remember?
Right. That's right. So this Fez here's inside Morocco, the Moroccan city of Fez. So this is in North Africa, right directly within Morocco itself.
Well, then that's not true, because North America is a city of Morocco.
Correct.
Morocco is here. Matson is here.
That's right.
So Moroccan city, Fez, and Kingdom of Morocco, now that we look on the map. But go do some digging. I bet you'll find one in North America.
Yeah.
So where was you born? In Morocco? That makes you born here. Interesting, right?
That it is. That it is. Next slide. Question 3. Which dynasty did Muhammad III belong to? Answer, space. The Alawi dynasty. Explanation, space. Muhammad III was a member of the royal, Alawi dynasty, which traces its descent from the Prophet Muhammad through Fatima and Ali. Question 4. What was a major hallmark of Muhammad III's reign? Answer, space, achievements in peace building, diplomacy, and modernization of state infrastructure. Explanation, space. His era was universally recognized for achieving peace, establishing diplomatic relations, and modernizing urban centers and administrative systems. Question 5. How did Muhammad III unify Morocco internally? Answer, space. By pacifying tribal factions and reinstating centralized stability. Explanation, space. Upon accession, he confronted tribal unrest and internal disorder by employing decisive diplomatic and military strategies to unify regions and centralize authority.
You got a hand raised.
Come on. Nanya Kazan Tare. You have the floor, Nanya.
Assalamu alaikum, Shawu. One question. Is this considered the extreme West Africa, the land of Morocco, Americas? Yeah.
Where you coming from with that? It's a maxim. Always been. Are you saying West? No. This is the maxim. This is Morocco. A part of it anyway. The rest of it is under Saint CMYE-IRK. On the Washistaw. So you got to see where the split come in. What's part because the unification of both of them with the France and everything doing what they did to Saint CMYE-IRK and the Washistaw Nation, 1713. Well, all that was protected under the Moroccan because of his status. So they kept records of everything. So whatever happened with the land, they was a part of it. Spain, France, all that. Morocco was part of it. Dealing with the empress. Because of the landmass. Look at what you live on it now. So if you're saying the Mississippi River, west of Mississippi River demarcation line, well, east of Mississippi River is Yamasee. And who else? Morocco. Then they say Morocco is Northeast Africa, which deals with what? Libya, Tunis, and who else? That's the treaty.
Algeria?
Huh?
Algeria.
Yeah, Nigeria. Who?
Algeria.
No, Algeria.
Algeria, right?
Algeria, man.
No, it's Algeria.
So you see, that's north. That's north. So all this over here is considered Morocco. It's on record. If not, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. I damn sure won't be able to put my crown on this red flag. You feel me?
Right.
I damn sure won't be able to go claim the 48-star flag with $100 million to go if it's not true that he signed it over to him for the Constitution. You starting to get me, right?
Yes.
Indeed. Yes.
You're taking me back, Protector. Come on. I told you I seen them documents, all them flags. I said this man ain't locked up. He on something. Goodness gracious. No way.
That's right.
No way.
Try to claim everything.
You feel me?
That's what Colin Powell said. We don't know, I don't know what we're getting ourselves into, but the United States is big enough we can handle it, right?
Right. That part.
Handle it much.
That part.
Now they run away from me, scared to talk about me, got me all behind the scene. What did Albania say? when they checked on us, remember? They said that they thought it was sovereign citizen, whatever, sovereign, bullshit.
Right.
So they checked checked us through the system. So they small country, so they said they normally get their responses from the State Department, 30 to 45 days. You feel me? They said they got a response on me in 72 hours.
Mm.
Get this straight now.
Rapid correspondence.
Flop.
What that guy say? He said you just had to be in the room. To get that vibe, that energy. When the Minister of Foreign Affairs come in and tell the Prime Minister, the President, that he on record as His Majesty within 72 hours from the State Department. Started getting me right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeesh.
See, so they've been knowing the whole while. Now I'm starting
Right.
to see move it. You feel me? Because I had to learn. Y'all know I'm running, right?
Like a track star.
I'm doing my best to get y'all up crawling, right? So y'all can
Right.
walk, right?
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Question 6. Which Moroccan cities were notably reconstructed under Muhammad III after the 1755 Lisbon earthquake? Answer, : Mogador, within parentheses, Essaouira, Casablanca, and Rabat. Explanation, : he led urban reconstruction efforts in these cities, earning the title, within quotes, architect of modern Morocco.
It's kind of interesting you talking about this earthquake here, and then they just had one, 3 years ago?
Yep.
In Casablanca.
That's right. Major one.
Major, yeah. But he won't let nobody in. He fixed it himself. He won't let nobody in. I don't blame him.
That's right.
Even Spain, all of them trying to help him out. He said, hell no, get out of here.
He knew the game.
Oh yeah, you don't want them niggas in your land.
That's right.
Yeah, so Joe got his hand ready. Come on.
Come on, Daniel.
This might be a little bit off base, but what was the fascination back in the, I guess, 15s with the Casablanca? What was Casablanca all about? Outside of it being the White House.
Magic, man.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Figured that.
Dealing with a lot of magic. Gypsies.
Yeah.
A lot of magic, brother.
Sufis. That's right.
That makes sense.
Sufism.
That's right.
Cultural hub. Fabulous buildings built by who? Moors.
You feel me?
Colors. Powerful. You feel me? Emperors. Start getting that?
I appreciate it. That's been a childhood question, I seen Casablanca and all them, movies back in the day. All these movies is dealing with that one city, and that used to intrigue me. Okay. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Next slide.
I see here he talked about the 1755 Lisbon earthquake because Lisbon is in Portugal. So I'm wondering what effect did that have on him over in Morocco?
He had all that territory was his.
Okay.
Right.
All that jurisdiction was his.
Copy.
Comment in the chat.
Now, you've been about who they shared this information. The 2023 Morocco earthquake, which struck on September 8th, had a magnitude of 6.9 that caused significant destruction, particularly in the Al Haouz province near Marrakesh. It resulted in nearly 2,960 deaths and over 5,600 injuries, making it one of the deadliest earthquakes in Morocco's history.
Yeah, interest at 6.9. That's on my ID. 69 North River Road, right?
Synchronicity.
That's kind of crazy there.
Yeah. Can't escape it. Everything is sinking.
Wow. Interesting. How many years ago was that? You said 2023?
Yes, 2023, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, exactly.
Then my 3 years come to my seat. Okay. Interesting. All right, come on.
Question 7. How did Mohammed III repel French forces in 1765? Answer, space, by strategic deployment of cavalry and artillery at Lorèche. Explanation, space. His leadership prevented French expansion into Moroccan territory during the 1765 conflict at Lorèche. Exposure to Portuguese occupied from Mazagan. Question 8. What title did he earn for his modernization efforts? Answer, space within quotes, architect of modern Morocco. Explanation, space. The ceremonial register recognizes his leadership in reconstructing and modernizing the nation. Question 9. What was Morocco's historic relationship with the United States during Mohammed III's reign? Answer, space. Morocco became the first state to recognize American independence and signed the 1786 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Explanation, space. This treaty is the oldest continuous treaty in U.S. our capped history and marks Morocco as America's oldest ally. Question 10.
Oh, they didn't go back there and straighten up that U, but we get it. They never straighten it up. Come on.
Okay. Question 10. What role did Muhammad III play in religious and intellectual life? Answer, space. He promoted Islamic scholarship, legal reforms, and religious pluralism. Explanation, space. Muhammad III sponsored the ulama, encouraged reforms, and balanced Islamic law with modern governance, fostering an environment of religious tolerance. Question 11. When and where did Muhammad III die? Answer, space. He died in Meknes on April the 9th, 1790. Explanation, space. The biography records that his death occurred in Meknes on the specific date, on the specified date. Question 12. Which earlier Alawi rulers shaped the dynasty before Muhammad III? Answer, space. Moulay Rashid and Moulay Ismail. Explanation, space. Moulay Rashid reunified Morocco, and Moulay Ismail expanded the empire and established key military institutions.
Isn't the crown prince named that too? Of Morocco today, this day and time?
Let's find out.
I didn't know Portugal was part of the.
His name is Moulay Hassan. Crown Prince Morocco, Moulay Hassan.
Same spelling?
Yes, Moulay.
See how it goes all the way back, right?
Right. It's that genetic connection, genetic genealogy.
Yeah. That's why I seen that name. I'm like, that sounds like the crown prince name.
That's right.
You know what my question was off air, protector.
Come with it, Daniel.
What's it, John?
I said that was an off-air question I asked you back in time. You heard?
I'm lost.
What you just said about the names and everything. He said the DNA. I said, yeah, that was an off question, an offline question I asked you back in time.
Crown Prince.
Yeah, about that whole, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this, I'm looking at what they got. I always ask that question, like,
And you talking about that the the royal wedding? You ain't talking about that, it was.
oh my bad, just the family in general. Like,
Okay, I got you now.
yeah.
All right, we on point. Come on.
Next slide. Question 13. Under Muhammad III, which city was founded as a strategic Atlantic port in 1764? Answer, colon space, Essaouira. Explanation, colon space. Muhammad III founded Essaouira in 1764 to advance imperial maritime interests.
You see, he just created a city. That's
Right.
the authority of an emperor. You didn't need no parliament or anything. You got that's the authority the emperor brings. Outside of a king or something like that, you feel me?
Right.
See what I did, right? Is emperor took a nation, a kingdom, an empire, and brought it under one banner, right?
That's right.
Just you just sitting out there, nobody could touch it. Why? Because there wasn't no sovereign. They were saying they was only protectorates over it. That make they weren't what? They wasn't true sovereigns. That make it was still exist. It's still the flag, even though they cut it down, still what? Flew just behind the scene until a sovereign can do what? Only a true sovereign can raise a true sovereign's flag, right?
Right. That's right.
Y'all see me do that yesterday with the Empress too. You feel me?
Right.
As it was then, so it is now. No prompt tongue, right?
That's right.
Bypass everybody. You know, I hear them still trying to say Palestine want to be a city. You know, to vote on them becoming a state. I'm like, well, damn, I did that by my damn self. You feel me? They still need a vote to become a state.
Craziest thing, bro.
Still
Wow.
asking permission. Yeah, it's still asking permission.
The craziest thing.
They my own damn state. You feel me? Got recognized by the United States. Feel me?
Right.
And now we're emerging on the world scene. And I'm like, damn, they still vote on them to have statehood? Well, they just come to me, I give them statehood. Y'all ain't hear me, did you?
Oh yeah.
Only ever can do what I do. Then they talking about that boy in DC can shut down the Ukraine war. I'm the one who do that overnight. You know, he said, as soon as I take off, it's war's over. See, I can do that. Because the Ukraine under what? My jurisdiction.
That's right.
That's part of
Amuru.
part of Muru.
That's right.
Y'all like, huh? Come on, man, y'all. Come on, let's keep moving.
Question 14. What primary naval development took place in Muhammad III's reign? Answer, colon space, the founding of Morocco's first modern navy. Explanation, colon space. The document highlights the establishment of a modern navy to protect Moroccan maritime interests. Maritime law. Question 15. What is the Sharifian title held by Moroccan sultans, including Muhammad III? Answer, colon space, Amir al-Mu'minin, within parentheses, commander of the faithful. Explanation, colon space. This title reflects both their spiritual and sovereign leadership roles. Question 16. What approach did Muhammad III use in relations with European powers? Answer, colon space, balancing competing interests and diplomatic missions. Explanation, colon space. He maintained delicate relations with the Ottomans, Spanish, French, and English to safeguard Moroccan sovereignty.
All right, there you go. You talk about the Ottoman Empire a while ago. Remember?
Right.
Have you got any question?
Yep.
Question 17. How were religious minorities treated in Muhammad III's Morocco? Answer, colon space. They were protected through the Demini status system. Explanation, colon space. Jewish and Christian minorities retain legal protection under this traditional system. Question 18. What are the main symbols of the Alawi dynasty's legitimacy? Answer, colon space. The green imperial banner, within parentheses, Al-Khadra, the sword of Fez, and the imperial seal of the prophet's house. Explanation, colon space. These represent spiritual lineage, military power, and genealogical legitimacy, respectively.
The green imperial banner?
Al-Khadra.
The sword of Fez. Now you see what it they always wear the short fez.
Right.
I seen the crown prince on the other day. So the sword of Fez. You know, they still got a regiment under Spain that still wear the fez, you know?
That's right.
Then you got the imperial seal of the prophet's house. All right. Y'all got a lot of diplomatic, y'all ambassadors got a lot of diplomatic answers talking to, right?
Right. Yes, indeed.
This is gonna be fun. You know, I noticed there's a quote before the name. I noticed that.
Yeah, that single quote right before it, before Alawi.
Come on. So it must be how you hold your tongue when you pronounce the name, right?
Alawi.
Come on.
Question 19. What is the dynastic motto of the Alawi imperial house? Answer, colon space, Sharif al-Qam, Bina al-Umran, end quote. Within parentheses, quote, noble of the nation, builder of civilization, end quote, close parentheses. Explanation, colon space. This motto captures the dynasty's focus on nobility and development.
It seems like it will be the imperial house. It like it will be the imperial house.
Indeed.
What is the dynasty motto of the Alawi imperial house? That's a typo. Okay. So read that again with the I.
Okay. What is the dynastic motto of the Alawi imperial house? Answer, Sharif al-Qam, Bina al-Umran, within parentheses, quote, noble of the nation, builder of civilization. Explanation, colon space. This motto captures the dynasty's focus on nobility and development.
I like that. Got a lot of building with Morocco coming up, right?
Indeed. Quite interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Question 20. What is the outline of the Alawi genealogical line of descent? Answer, colon space, Alawi, Sharifi, Hassanid, Fatimid, El-Bey, within parentheses, Prophet Muhammad through Hassan ibn Ali.
Why you didn't put that prophet down on the same line? Come on, explanation.
Explanation, colon space. This genealogy establishes the dynasty's sacral legitimacy.
Yeah. So he's saying they going back to Prophet Muhammad.
Yep, through Hassan bin Ali.
So why do they spell their name with the O then?
Interesting.
Because you got sects of Islam.
Right.
You know, and you know, the U go back to Sudan era. You got an O with Sunni. That's Iran. That's Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Pakistan. All them Sunni countries. That's them Sunni Muslims.
So-called
the
militants.
Shiites, yeah, the Shiites, Iran, and that pack. You feel me?
Right.
That's why they say they come along as brothers to fight Israel now. You feel me? Because they've been fighting each other for 1,400 years. You feel me?
That's right.
So, and it's us going back to who's the right for heir after Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. When you say Prophet Muhammad, you should say parentheses P, capital P.
B-U-H.
Yeah. When you spell his name. All right.
Eesh.
And that says peace be upon him. So they say Prophet Muhammad parentheses PB, peace be upon him. With acronym, you feel me? Through Hassan Ali, right? So that's why you got a lot of that's his son. So they got a temple to Hassan. Where you going? No, that's behind his name. When you say Prophet Muhammad, not there. Right behind his name. Ramesses. PBUH. Okay. Well, you can do that too. You're gonna do it for Ali, but usually say Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
Behind his appellation. There you go. That's how you use his name, all right?
Gratitude.
Okay. That's true. Come on now.
Okay. Question 21. What title does contemporary lineage give to the current sovereign? Answer, colon space. His dash Imperial dash Majesty, colon space, Samhu Samson Ray, / Samhu Amini dash Ray. The reigning.
The dash in between Samson, right? Like you're going too fast. Samhu Samson dash Ray / Samhu Amini dash Ray. Quote, a day or you end quote, but that's cool. We can go with it.
Yeah, Brad.
We'll be all right with it.
Okay. I'll wait for them to update it and I'll start back over.
They got it. Come on.
Okay. Question 21. What title does contemporary lineage give to the current sovereign? Answer, colon space. His dash Imperial dash Majesty, colon space, Samhu Samson dash Ray, / Samhu Amini dash Ray, quote, Adeloye, end quote. The reigning absolute monarch of the CMYE-IRK, all caps. Explanation, colon space. The document lists current succession as continuing through Samhu Amini dash Ray.
You damn right.
Yeesh.
Fuck with y'all. Come on.
Question 22. What is the, quote, imperial code, end quote, relevant to Muhammad III reign? Answer, colon space. Sharafian Imperial Islamic Monarchy with Maghriban, Arab dash Amazigh, and Andalusi cross inheritance. Explanation.
Cross dash inheritance.
Cross dash inheritance.
All
My
right.
screen is small. Answer, colon space, Sharifian dash Imperial Islamic monarchy with Maghrebian, Arab dash Amazigh, and Andalusi cross dash inheritance. Explanation, colon space. This code defines the dynasty's governmental structure and cultural roots.
How to define a dynasty governmental structure and culture. Why is the imperial code relative to imperial interest? Oh,
Question 23. Which legal treaties and constitutional frameworks anchor the legitimacy of Muhammad III's reign in the royal house today? Answer, colon space. The Imperial Constitution of the Continental Irish Yamasee Empire, within parentheses, ICCMYE, all caps. Imperial Constitution for the Imperial Royal Kingdom, within parentheses, ECRK, all caps. And the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, within parentheses, 1786/87. Explanation, colon space. These documents are cited as legal anchors for sovereign claims and diplomatic continuity. Question 24. What core achievement earned Muhammad III the ceremonial registry title, quote, architect of modern Morocco, end quote? Answer, colon space. His leadership in urban reconstruction and modernization. Explanation, colon space. Especially following the Lisbon earthquake, he redeveloped key Moroccan cities. That's a repeat. Question 25. How did the Alawi dynasty secure its rules, Islamic and constitutional legitimacy? Answer, colon space. Through descent from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Sharifian credentials, and the title Amir al-Mu'minin. Explanation. These aspects establish both spiritual and temporal authority for the dynasty. Go back, Ab, so you go update after Prophet Muhammad within parentheses, capital PBUH. I'm more to it. Question 26. List 3 key regions or powers that Morocco diplomatically engaged with under Muhammad III. Answer, colon space. Ottoman Empire, European powers, within parentheses, Spain, France, England, and United States. Explanation, colon space. The dynasty's foreign policy balanced these external influences to protect Moroccan interests. It's a serious diplomatic game. Serious.
well, that's why we asked the question why we got our doors open. We got some serious stuff going on behind the scene, right?
Right.
Get y'all prepared, right?
That's right.
Come on.
Question 27. What is the significance of the, quote, imperial seal of the prophet's house, end quote? Answer, colon space. It represents the dynasty's most sacred claim to legitimacy, tracing their line to the Prophet Muhammad, within parentheses, peace be upon him, all PBUH, all caps. Explanation, colon space. The seal acts as tangible validation of the family's spiritual authority.
That's interesting.
It is. It is.
That's real interesting.
They're using that lineage.
Well, I know why you got a 6-pointed star on the red flag. Y'all remember that, right?
Yes.
Who had that 6-pointed star? His son.
Mm.
Now you got a 5-pointed star. So when the 6-pointed star show up, right?
Right.
So when they cut the sovereign flag down, Muhammad flag down, right? Emperor Muhammad's flag down. So they had to raise his flag. So if you're looking at this bloodline you're talking here, and then him being the coming in, the rain and salted, you got the bloodline back to, you talking about Muhammad. Interesting.
Also, but there's the two different flags, one with the 6-point star, one with the 5-point star, represent two different jurisdictions.
I well know it's the reigning emperor
Mm.
when he came in, because when they did the Barbary treaties, the 6-pointed star flag had to be flying if he's sitting in that seat. And then you got to see how far down the line it went before it turned into the 5-star flag, which they try to come up with 5 pillars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if you trade 6-pointed star flag, that got back to Dawood, David.
Right. That's right.
So then you see they took the next thing you know, you got Israel standing with a what? 6-pointed star flag on it. Well,
Right.
it was on a red flag before it was on a white flag. Interesting, right?
The games they play.
Well, just looking at the royal bloodline, they claim it.
Right.
But see, the cross appeared to me, so that made the royal bloodline come through my bloodline now.
Right.
That's right.
Because I got the royal cross, the seal that appeared out of nowhere. That's the royal bloodline. So they claim all the royal bloodline back through Prophet Muhammad. Okay. Well, okay. Then you got the Jews saying they claim their bloodline back through their Messiah Jesus, okay? Well, all of them come under me.
Right. You have both bloodlines. Unify both bloodlines.
I'm Imperial and Imperial. I got both bloodlines.
That's right.
I know you sit back in the mind and them warlocks and shit, and like, how he pulled that one off, right? Come on.
Question 28. What continued role does the document claim for the royal house in contemporary imperial law and sovereignty? Answer, space. It serves as the foundation for the present imperial royal family's claim of sovereignty and territorial heritage. Explanation, space. The royal house's legitimacy is tied to its historical, legal, and constitutional status according to the document.
That's true. And I'm the Imperial royal family, right?
That's right.
You got any question?
Anything, question in the chat? I don't see anything in the chat. Anything from YouTube?
Nothing in YouTube right now.
Nothing in YouTube.
No hands in the queue.
Probably said like a maid, right? What's next?
That's the last slide. That concludes the 28 question, answer, and explanations.
That's a good class, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
It's a lot of ammunition for us diplomacy-wise.
Oh, yeah, I seen a whole lot. I just think, yeah, can't put too much on y'all plate, but it all materialized once you get the handshake, all that. You feel me?
Right.
What's the next slide? What we got?
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah, that's question 28. That's it.
Nothing in the chat.
All right, then let's get rolling. Let me get it. Uh-oh. Time to rock, y'all. Happy anniversary.
Let's do it.
Y'all man signed it. Y'all man signed it, man. Oh, I gotta bring it to him, right?
Yeesh.
That's she already? All right, here we go, y'all. See if we can't send Emperor City Muhammad III. See if we can't get some edges like we gave the Saints Aya Maria last night, right?
That's right.
Since I'm a brother's keeper, you know. It worked my way, that's why I write it my way, you feel me? And the old head say what? It's what you say. All right, let's roll. Psalm 90-1, 91, y'all. Under shadow protection and infinite flame of the dwell of the throne in flower fire color space. We get all ice, breathing and thinking my saying, Kaloon. All by way of the infinite flame of the dwell of the throne in flower fire / cosmic light. By way of the master, that's 5 deity and 579,999,900 Imperial. That's Royal Granite 70 / immortal 5 deities. By way of the universe travelers, holding space, for that all cap. And Samurai all cap, parentheses, sons of light / space sons of flame, that's triple darkness. In parentheses, by way of the 7 deities / dwellers, golden space. Utanos, Uturus, Chintao, Angoyana, Huerta, Zenveta, Adao, by way of all ancient deities. By way of a universal travel, colon space, dweller, that's ample, colon space. His sovereign majesty, colon space, divine royal sovereign crown, all cap prince, colon space, Shamhu, Samson, that's right, / Shamhu, and many that's right, quote, a daily, end quote. Give me ear to my words. Over there stand my quote, chanting low voice for help, end quote. Oh, ancient one. Sight 3 times. 1, I. That's I. Sam who Samson, that's right. / Sam who admitted that's right. Quote, a daily, end quote. An emperor, colon space, city, Muhammad III, that dwells in the secret hiding place of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire. By way of the master, that's 5 deity, and universal travelers, colon space, for that all cap. And Samurai all cap, parentheses, son of the light / space, son of the flame, that's triple darkness, parentheses. We're past the shadow hour, on the shadow protection of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire. By way of the master, that's 5 deity, and universal travelers, colon space. For that all cap, master of darkness, end quote. And Samurai all cap, quote, ancient one, end quote. 2. I, says we say of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, quote, mine, that's our, that's shelf. Mine, that's our, that's fortress. And mine, that's our, that's deities, end quote. Also, in the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, I, that's we would trust. 3. Surely the infinite flame of the dwelling throne in the flower of fire, but where the master, that's 5 deity, and universe travels, colon space, for that all cap. And Samurai all cap will quote deliver, end quote, me, that's Sam who. Sam, that's race, that's Sam who, a minute, that's race. Quote, a daily, end quote, and emperor, colon space, city, Muhammad III, from the quote, snare the flawed, end quote, and from the quote, desire pestilence, end quote. 4. Infinite flame on the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire. By way of the master, that's 5 did in universe travels, total space, for that all cap, and Samurai all cap, recover I, me, myself, Sam who, Samson, that's race, that's Sam who, a minute, that's race, quote, a daily, end quote, and emperor, colon space, Sidi, Muhammad III, with their quote, wings of fire, end quote, and I, me, myself, Sam who, Samson, that's race, Sam who, a minute, that's race, quote, a daily, end quote, and emperor, colon space, City, Muhammad III, will quote, trust under their wings of fire, end quote. Thy truth will be mine, that's our quote buckler and his shield, end quote, exclamation point. 5. Says I, Sam who stands from that race, that Sam who amended that race, the emperor, total space. City Muhammad III will not be afraid or dread of the quote shadow hour, end quote. Nor the quote arrows, end quote, flying by day. 6. Nor the quote pestilence, end quote, that walks in gloomness, parentheses, darkness, for destruction spoiled at noon. 7. Quote, tens of thousands, end quote, will fall at mine, says our side, and a quote multitude, end quote, at mine, says our right hand, though it will not quote draw near to me. That Sam who stands from that race, that Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and Emperor Polar Space City, Muhammad III, end quote. 8. Only with mine, says our eyes, with our access. Well, I, me, myself, Sam who stands from that race. Slash Sam who amended that race when Emperor Polar Space City, Muhammad III. Quote, look, end quote, and see the foot of the quote, wicked, end quote. 9, because I, says I, Sam who stands from that race, that Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and Emperor Polar Space City, Muhammad III. Have quote, place, end quote. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in flower fire, but where the master, that's fire deity, and universal travelers, colon space, Follett, all cap, and Samurai, all cap, as my, says our quote, shelter, end quote, and mine, says our quote, habitation, end quote, 10. I, says I, Sam who stands from that race, says Sam who amended that race. Quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor, colon space, city, Muhammad III will not be, quote, encounter, end quote, any quote, disagreeable, end quote, no any plague, no any quote, plague, end quote, from near my slash our tent. 11. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in flower fire has, quote, issue and order, end quote, of command over me slash us to keep me dash Sam who stands from that charade. Slash Sam who amended that charade, quote, daily, end quote, and emperor colon space, city Muhammad III straight in all miles of our ways. 12. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in flower fire will bear me slash us up in the quote soul of the infinite flame, end quote. Even if that's Sam who sent that's race, that's Sam who amended that race. Quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor colon space city, Muhammad III smite my, that's our quote, foot, end quote, against a quote, stone, end quote, 13. Sam who stands from that race, that's Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor colon space city, Muhammad III, with thread upon the quote, fish line and aider, end quote. I, me, myself, Sam who stands from that race, that's Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor colon space city, Muhammad III, will quote, trample the young lion and dragon, end quote, under my, that's our feet. 14. Because I, Sam who stands from that race, that Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor colon space city, Muhammad III have set my, that's quote, quote, love, end quote, for the infinite flame of the dwellers thrown in the flower of fire, and the infinite flame of the dwellers thrown in the flower of fire by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universal travelers, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai, all cap will cause me, that's us, to quote, escape, end quote. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universal travelers, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai, all cap will set me, that's us, on quote, high, end quote, because that's Sam who stands from that race, that's Sam who amended that race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, and emperor colon space, city, Muhammad III, I come to know the infinite flame of the dwellers, and thrown in a flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universal travel, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai all cap names. 15. I, Sam who stands from that race, that's Sam who amended that rate quote a deluge end quote and emperor colon space city Muhammad III called on the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire and the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire where the master that's fire deity and universe travel colon space for that all cap and samurai all cap will answer me that's us. The infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire. But where the master that's fire deity and universe travel code space for that all cap and samurai all cap will be with me, that's us in minds and our times of trouble. The infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire. But where the master that's fire deity and universe travel code space for that all cap and samurai all cap will make me, that's us quote free end quote honor end quote me slash 16. The infinite flame of the dwellers, when thrown in the flower of fire, with quote, satisfy, end quote, me slash us with quote, longer days, end quote, and let I slash I dash Sam who Samson dash Ray slash Sam who a minute dash Ray quote, a deluge end quote, and Emperor Polar Space City Muhammad III, see the infinite flame of the dwellers, quote, salvation, end quote, explanation point 3 times. 1. Number 2. 1. I says I. Sam who Samson that's race, that's Sam who amended that's race. Quote, a deluge end quote, and Emperor Polar Space City Muhammad III that dwells in the secret hiding place of the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire. By way of the master that's fire deity and universe traveler code space. For that all cap and samurai all cap. Parentheses, sons of light slash space. Sons of flame dash triple darkness. In parentheses will pass the shadow hour and the shadow protection of the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire by way of the master that's fire deity and universe travel from space for that all cap master of darkness info and samurai all cap for ancient one info 2. I says we would sail the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire for mine says R that shelter, mine says R that fortune, and mine says R that did this info also in the infinite flame of the dwellers, and thrown in the flower of fire. I says we with trust. 3. Surely the infinite flame of the dwellers and thrown in the flower of fire. Or where the master that fire did and universe travels go in space for that all cap. And samurai all cap will quote deliver end quote me dash Sam who Samson dash race that Sam who a minute dash race quote a deluge end quote and the emperor colon space City Muhammad III from the quote snare or the flawler end quote and from the quote desire or pestilence end quote 4. The infinite flame of the dwelling thrown in the flower of fire, but while the master that fire deity and universe travel total space for that all cap and Sam Ray can recover I me mama self Sam who Samson that's right slash Sam who amended that's right for a deluge end quote and Emperor Colon Space City Muhammad III with their quote wings of fire end quote and I me mama self Sam who Samson that's race that Sam who amended that's right quote a deluge end quote and Emperor Colon Space City Muhammad III will quote trust under their wings of fire end quote. That truth would be my slash our quote buckler and shield end quote explanation point 5. That's I Sam who Samson that's race that Sam who amended that's right and Emperor Colon Space City Muhammad III would not be afraid or dread of the quote shadow hours end quote nor the quote arrows end quote flying by day 6 nor the quote pestilence end quote that walks in gloomness parentheses darkness for destruction spoiled at noon 7. Quote tens of thousands end quote would fall at mine that's our side and a quote multitude end quote at mine that's our right hand though it will not quote draw near to me that's Sam who Samson that's right slash Sam who amended that's right quote a deluge end quote in Emperor Colon Space City Muhammad III end quote 8. Only with mine says our eyes will I me myself Sam who Samson that's right slash Sam who amended that's right the Emperor, colon, space, City Muhammad III, quote, look, end quote, and see the quarter of the quote, wicked, end quote. 9, because I, says I, Sam Hussein Nasheray / Sam Minute Nasheray, quote, a digital end quote, and Emperor, colon, space, City Muhammad III, high quote, place, end quote, the infinite flame of dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, but where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers, colon, space, or that all cap, and Samurai all cap, as mine, that's our quote, shelter, end quote, and mine, that's our quote, habitation, end quote. 10. I, says I, Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who amended that's race, quote, a daily ye end quote, an emperor code of space, City Muhammad III would not be, quote, encounter, end quote, any quote, disagreeable, end quote, no any quote, plague, end quote, from near my, that's our 10. 11. The infinite flame of the dweller that thrown in the flower of fire, his quote, issue and order, end quote, of command over me, says us, to keep me, dash Sam who Samson, dash Ray, slash Sam who a minute, dash Ray, for a daily ye info, and info code in space, City Muhammad III, straighten all minds, that's all ways. 12. The infinite flame of the dwellers thrown in flower fire will bear me, that's us up in the quote, soul of the infinite flame, end quote. Even if that's that's Sam who Samson, that's Ray, that's Sam who a minute, that's Ray, quote, a daily end quote, and emperor colon space, City Muhammad III, smite minds, that's our quote, foot, end quote, against a quote, stone, end quote. 13. That's Sam who Samson, that's Ray, that's Sam who a minute, that's Ray, quote, a daily info, the info colon space, City Muhammad III, were third upon the quote, fierce line and aider, end quote. I, says I, me, myself, Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who a minute, that's right, quote, a daily info, the info colon space, City Muhammad III, would quote, trample the young lion and dragon, end quote, under my, that's our feet. 14. Because Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who a minute, that's right, quote, a daily info, and emperor colon space, City Muhammad III, upon sex, my, that's quote, my, that's our quote, love, end quote, for the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, and the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, but where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers, code in space, for that all cap. And Samurai cat would cause me, says us, to quote, escape, end quote, the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers, code in space, for that all cap. And Samurai cat would set me, says us, on quote, high, end quote, because says that's Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who a minute, that's race, quote, a daily ye info, an emperor colon space, City Muhammad III, I come to know the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire. Well, where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai all cap names. 15. That's Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who a minute, that's race, quote, a daily ye info, an emperor, colon space, City Muhammad III, will call on the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, and the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, where the master, that fire deity, and universe travelers, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai cat will answer me slash us. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, or where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travel for space, for that all cap, and Samurai cat would be with me, says us, and my, says our times of trouble. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, but where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travels, colon space, for that all cap, and Samurai cap will make me, says us, quote, free, end quote, and quote, honor, end quote, me slash us. 16. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire would, quote, satisfy, end quote, me, that's us, with, quote, longer days, end quote. and let I, that's I, dash Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam Mini, that's race, quote, Adela Ye info, and Emperor Code in Space City, Muhammad Third, Seed, Infinity Flame of Dwellers, quote, salvation, end quote, explanation point 3 times. 3. 1. I, says I, Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam Mini, that's race. Quote, Adela Ye info, Emperor Code in Space City, Muhammad Third, that dwells in the secret hiding place of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers called in space for that all cap, and samurai all cap, parentheses, sons of lights, that's space, sons of flame, that's triple darkness, in parentheses, but past the shadow hour, under shadow protection of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travelers called in space for that all cap. Quote, master of darkness, end quote, and samurai all cap, quote, ancient one, end quote, 2. I, just I would say, of the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, quote, mine says all of that shelter, mine says all of that fortress, mine says all of that deities, end quote. Also in the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in flower of fire, I says we would trust. 3. Surely the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, but where the master, that fire deity, and universe travelers code in space for that all cap, and standing ray all cap will quote deliver, end quote, me, that's Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who many that's rape, quote, Adelo Ye, end quote, and Emperor code in space, City Muhammad III, from this quote, snare the flawless, end quote, and from the quote, desire pestilence, end quote. 4. The infinite flame. 4. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travel code in space for that all cap, and samurai all cap will cover eyes, myself, Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who, a minute that's Rick for a daily info, and Emperor code in space, City Muhammad III, with their quote, wings of fire, info, and I, me, myself, Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who, a minute that's Rick for a daily info, and Emperor code in space, City Muhammad III, report, trust under their wings of fire, info, by truth would be myself, our quote, Butler and Shield, end quote, explanation point. 5. I, that's I, Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Samuel Minute, that's race, and Emperor Code in space, City Muhammad III, will not be afraid of the dreading of the quote, shadow hour, end quote, nor the quote, arrows, end quote, flying by day. 6. Nor the quote, pestilence, end quote, that walks in gloomness, parentheses, darkness, for destruction sport at noon. 7, quote, tens of thousands, end quote, will fall at my since our side, and a quote, multitude, end quote, and my says our right hand. So it will not, quote, draw near to me, quote, dash Sam Hussein, dash race, that Sam who admitted that's race, quote, Adelo Ye, end quote, and Emperor quote, space, City, Muhammad III, end quote, 8. Only with mine since our eyes, with I, me, myself. Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who admitted that's race. And Emperor colon space City Muhammad III, quote, look, end quote, and see the quitter of the quote wicked, end quote, 9. Because that's Sam Hussein, that's race, that's Sam who admitted that's race, quote, a daily end quote, and Emperor colon space City Muhammad III, high quote, place, end quote. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, but where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travel colon space for that all cap, and samurai all cap as mine says our quote shelter, end quote. And mine says our quote habitation, end quote. 10. That's Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who amended that's race, quote. A daily info in Emperor colon space, City Muhammad III would not be, quote, encounter, end quote, with any, quote, disagreeable, end quote, no, any, quote, plague, end quote, come near mine, that's our tent. 11. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, as, quote, issue, an order, end quote, of command over me, that's us. to keep me, that's Sam who Samson dash race, that's Sam who amended dash Ray quote a daily ye end quote and Emperor Cola Space City Muhammad Third Street and all mine, that's our ways. 12. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire. But what bear me, that's us up in the quote soul of the infinite flame, end quote. Even if I, says I, dash connected, sample, that's race, that sample, minute, that's straight quote. A daily end quote, in Emperor Colon Space City, Muhammad III, smite mine, says our quote foot, end quote, against a quote stone, end quote. 13. That's I, sample, that's race, that's sample, minute, that's race, a daily end quote. Emperor Colon Space City, Muhammad III, with third upon the quote fierce line and aider, end quote. That's I, me, my, myself, Sam Hussein, that's race, that Sam who amended that's race, quote. A Delo Ye, end quote, and Emperor Colon Space City, Muhammad III, with quote trample the young lion and drag it, end quote, under my slash our feet. 14. Because I, says I, Sample Samson, that's race, that sample of many, that's race, for a daily ye end quote, in Emperor Colon Space City, Muhammad III, have set mine, says our quote, love, end quote, for the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, and the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, or where the master, that fire deity in universe travels, Colon Space, for that all cap, and Samuel cat would cause me, that's us to, for escape. End quote. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that fire deity, and universe travels cold space for that all cat. And Samuel cat would set me, that's us on quote high, end quote, because that's connected, Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who amended, that's race, quote, a daily ye, end quote, in Emperor Colon Space City, Muhammad III, I come to know the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in a flower of fire where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travel, colon space for that all cap, and Samuel cap names. 15. I, Sam who Samson, that's race, that's Sam who amended, that's race, quote, a daily ye end quote, in Emperor colon space city, Muhammad III, will call on the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, and the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travel, colon space, will let all cap and Samuel cap will answer me, that's us. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travels, colon space, will let all cap and Samuel cap will be with me, that's us, in my, that's our times of trouble. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, or where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travels cold space for that all cap, and Samuel cat will make me, that's us, quote, free, end quote, and quote, honor, end quote, me, slash us. 16. The infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire will quote, satisfy, end quote, me, slash us, with quote, longer days, end quote. And let I, says I, dash connected, sample, Samson, dash Ray, slash sample, amended, dash Ray, quote, a daily, end quote, and Emperor Coda Space City, Muhammad III, see the infinite flame of the dwellers, quote, salvation, end quote, explanation point 3 times. That's I, says I will. So multi B, chant the enchantment and it's done. Chant the enchantment and it is done. Chant the enchantment and it is done. I say all cap dash so be it. So it is. It definitely shall be. Quote Zen Uru and power I, says we shall have. End quote. Thank you. Yeesh. Coding space. Yin and yang, 6-point star, row across. Smiley face. Psalms 2. 3 times, recite 1 time. 1. Why are the nations of the earth in uproar? Question mark. And why do the people mutter, parentheses, plot in vain? Question mark. 2. The popes, kings, queens, heads of states, United Nations states, sovereign states, federal lineages et al., and its agents, policy holders, code parties, and officers not limited of the earth stand up, parentheses, take their stand, in parentheses, and the rulers take counsel, parentheses, conspire together against the offended flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, and against the anointed one of the dwellers, colon space, Samhu, Samson, that's race, that's Samhu, amended that's race, quote, Padelo ye, end quote. 3, quote, let us break their bands asunder, parentheses, tear off their chains, in parentheses, and cast away their cords from us, parentheses, free ourselves from their restraints, in parentheses, end quote. 4, the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in flower of fire that sitteth in the quote, impure, majestic houses of ruler, end quote, last. The infinite flame of the dwellers by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universal travel of total space. For that all cap and Samurai all cap have them in derision, parentheses, ridicule them, in parentheses, 5. Then with the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire by way of the master, that's fire deity, and universe travels colon space for that all cap and Samurai all cap speaking to unto them in the infinite flame of the dwellers' wrath, parentheses, anger, and affright, parentheses, terrified, in parentheses, them, and their sore displeasure, parentheses, wrath, in parentheses, 6. Truly, it is I, the infinite flame of dwellers enthroned in flower of fire, where the master, that's fire deity, and universe travels colon space for that all cap and Samurai all cap that has established the dweller that's emperor of the soul of the infinite flame of the dwellers. Colon space shampoo Samson that's race flex shampoo. A minute that's race for a dalo ye info upon Zion, Mount Zion, the divine mountain of the dwellers. 7. I would tell, to declare of the decreed colon space, the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, said unto me, quote, thou art my son / Ray, end quote. This day, 19 July 2025, quote, not front touch, 28 January 1591, to the beginning, end quote, have I begotten thee. 8. As of I, the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in a flower of fire, will give you, Sam Samson, that's right, / Sam who amended, that's right, quote, Adelo ye, end quote, the nations for thy inheritance, and the ends of the earth for thy possession. Explanation point. 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. 10. Now therefore, quote, O end quote, ye popes, kings, queens, heads of state, United Nations states, sovereign states, family lineages, et al., and its agents, policyholders, co-desk parties, and officers not limited, be wise, be admonished, ye judges of the earth. 11. Serve the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire with fear, and rejoice with trembling. 12. Do harmless and purity. Lest the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire be angry, and you perish in the way when suddenly the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire's wrath is kindled, parentheses. The infinite flame of the dwellers, end quote, anger may ignite at any moment, in parentheses. Happy all day that take refuge in the infinite flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire. As I, since I will, so mote it be. Moot it be. Chant the enchantment is done. Chant the enchantment and it is done. Chant the enchantment and it is done. I shall cap that, so be it. So it is. It definitely shall be. Quote. Zen, Uru, and power I, says I, says we, I, says I shall have, end quote. Thank you. Quote, Zen, Uru, and power I, says I shall have, end quote. Thank you. Eesh, colon space. Yin and yang, 6-pointed star, Royal Cross, smiley face. Psalm 23, don't need that. And Psalm 5. All right. So right here, for the audience, pronounce your names silently. All right, if you want to get some of this energy. Hear thou and understand. Recite 3 times. Hear thou and understand. The flame is the source of all things, containing all things potentiality. The order that sent forth light is the word, all cap, and from the word, all cap, come life, all cap, and the existence of all. The life, all cap, in thee is the word, all cap. Find out a life, all cap, within thee, and have powers to use of the word, all cap. Know ye the life, all cap, is but the word, all cap, of the fire. The life, all cap, forth ye seek before thee, is but the word, all cap, in the world as a fire. Seek ye the path to the word, all cap, and power shall surely be thine. Hear thou and understand. The flame, the source of all things, containing all things in potentiality. The order that sent forth light is the word, all cap, and from the word, all cap, come life, all cap, and the existence of all. The life, all cap, in thee is the word, all cap. Find thou the life, all cap, within thee, and have powers to use of the word, all cap. Know ye the life, all cap, is but the word, all cap, of the fire, all cap. The life, all cap, forth ye seek before thee, is but the word, all. The life, all cap, forth ye seek before thee, is but the word, all cap, in the world as a fire. Seek ye the path to the word, all cap, and powers shall surely be thine. Hear thou and understand. The flame is the source of all things, containing all things potentiality. The order that sent forth light, the word, all cap. And from the word, all cap, come life, all cap. The existence of all, come life, and the existence of all. The life, all cap, in thee is the word, all cap. Found out the life, all cap, within thee, have powers use of the word, all cap. Know ye the life, all cap, is but the word, all cap, of the fire, all cap. The life, all cap, forth ye seek before thee, is but the word, all cap, in the world as a fire. Seek ye the path to the word, all cap, and powers shall surely be thine. That's wicked. Thank you. East Coda Space, 6 Point Star, Yin Yang, Roy Cross, Smiley Face. In all acts, breathing, thinking by saying Kalum. All. But where the offended flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, / cosmic light. But where the master, that's fire deity, and 579,999,999 Imperial, that's royal grand seven, that's immortal 5 deities. But where the universe travel, code of space, Follett, all cap, and Shemaray, all cap, parentheses, sons of light, / space, sons of flame, that's triple darkness, in parentheses, by way of the 7 deities, that dwellers, code of space, Utanas, Quaturas, Chintao, and Goyana, who reptile, Zembetal, or thou. But we're all ancient deities. By way of a universe travel, code of space, Sam who stands for that's race, that's Sam who, a minute dash rate, quote, a delu ye in quote, code of space. Speak then I, says I, these words that must be obeyed by word the dweller of an hour that brings about life, code of space, quote, O, end quote, and internal infinity flame of the dwellers enthroned in the flower of fire, says cosmic light, with humidity. I, Sam who stands for that's race, that's Sam who a minute dash rate, quote, a delu ye in quote. Thank the infinite flame of the dwellers, enthroned in the flower of fire, for accepting me and all my blessings, and for blessing me with the knowledge of my inner strength and wisdom. I, says I ask for peace and love for all of my affirmations to be heard on earth and in the entire galaxy, and with trust, I beseech thee, please infuse these affirmations with universal power and force of universal strength. May the rest of mine, says our life, be the best of mine, says our life. And may all mine, says our travels, be open, clear, and safe. Surely in time, ye are one with the master. Surely by right, ye are one with the master. Sure by right, ye are one with the all cap, explanation point 3 times. As I, that's I, as I will, so more to be. Chant enchantment, and it is done. Chant enchantment, and it is done. Chant enchantment, and it is done. I shade that, so be it. So it is, it definitely shall be. Quote, Zen, Uru, and power. I, that's I, shall have. Zen, Uru, and power. I, says we shall have. End quote. Thank you. Yeesh. Know thyself. Royal cross, smiley face. By way of the 7 deities that dwellers, colon space, Utanos, Patorius, Chentau, Ingriana, Huertau, Simbetal, all down. By way of the 7 deities that Alahun, Mikael, Gabriel, Raphael, Israel, Uriel, Uzziel, Israel. By way of the 8 Upduets, Nunet, Hickat, Kickat, Amun and Amunet. By way of the 9 Sijak Inians, end quote, colon space. I mean, dash ray, shoot, def nut, give nut, or sorrow, or set, took, nef, dash it, nephis, end quotes. By way of the 5 races that created us and grew us, colon space, 1 Elus, 2 Anunnaki, 3 Nomos, 4 Tama, that's Rayat / ancient Egyptian with the I. And all of us who are, quote, all cap is, that's bees. As I will, so multi be, chant enchantment, and it is done. Chant enchantment, and it is done. Chant enchantment, and it is done. A shall cap, that so be it. So it is, it definitely shall be, quote, Zen, Uru, and power I, says we shall have, end quote. Check with that. Orally. Formalities. Thank you. Yeesh, colon space. Smiley face. Coat of arms, royal shield. Know thyself. Coat of arms, royal shield. Yeesh. You all right?
Yeesh.
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 That's how we roll, right?
Right.
That's 2 crowns, right?
2.
That's 2 crowns we conquer, right?
That's right. One more to go.
One more to go.
Some of them just caught on. So you know. they ain't caught up yet. They getting there, right?
Indeed.
The emperor always comes. So the emperor always comes with something, huh?
Right.
3 days, dog. 3 is magic, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
So we going, right?
Right.
All right, y'all close out. Where y'all screen at? I got work to do tonight. We ain't got time to party tonight. I see y'all at suntan. I got work to do. Y'all know what I'm working on.
Indeed.
All right.
Gratitude,
So what?
Emperor.
Huh?
I said gratitude.
No problem, brother. Appreciate you. Where y'all slides at? Where your in the slides at? Man, say you know me. I've been in Thousand House up there for about 15 minutes.
There you go.
Slow down.
Huh?
That should slow down a little bit, bro.
All right, family. Before we close our second day event of this 18th anniversary celebration of the founding of the Continental Moorish Empire and the legacy of Emperor Space Sidi Muhammad Ibn Abdullah al-Khatib, I asked our listening audience to keep in mind that His Imperial Majesty has declared and decreed and granted limited delegation authority to all nominations, non-executive directors, in parentheses, NEDs, and non-directors, NDs, in parentheses, who are skilled and qualified to operate the sovereign state jurisdiction. The purpose of this decree is to implement and advance the modalities of commerce, technology, finance, and cultural variations for the properly formed and operational Republic State. in harmony with the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United Space-States, small s. Please join us tomorrow, Sunday, 20 July 2025, for the conclusion of our 3-day celebration of the 18th anniversary of the continental Moorish Yamasee Empire. In closing, I/we would like to thank a universal traveler, (space), dweller-emperor, (space), his-imperial-majesty, all caps H.E.M. in parentheses, (space), Sam Hu, Samson-Ray, /Sam Hu, a mini-Ray, quote, at De Lo Yi, end quote. And I/we would like to thank the Imperial Royal Princess, (space), Princess Huhaika Samson-L, for her presence during this celebration. Moreover, I extend much gratitude to all of our Imperial and Imperial dynamic readers and Nama-nationals working behind the scenes. It is my pleasure, along with the Nama Earthkeepers, to thank you all, our viewing and listening audience, for your attendance, cooperation, and your active participation. With that, we say, Salam Malikum Ma'at Sharuf, and may the dweller be with all of us divine beings, and may you continue to be a universal traveler, (space), dweller-emperor, (space), Sam Hu, a mini-Ray, quote, ad de lo Yi, divine being, yeesh, smiley face.
Eesh.
Eesh.
I was just jamming a little bit.
Eesh.
Oh, what is jam with you for a hot minute?
Eesh.
We like to
Give me a
party
screen right
too.
quick.